hang on. There we go. I want that coffee mug.
Yes.
Granted, I don't drink coffee or anything hot brewed nearly as much as I used to, but I wish, I so wish that this coffee cup didn't get left on the boat in Japan, because I had one of those nice insulated ones with the handle on the side that had the wonderful seal of the U.S. Navy on one side of it. Guy that became a friend that worked for me decided to take the tool etcher to the bottom of my coffee cup.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
I laughed when I read it because I was wondering why a few people were giving me an odd look when I would take a drink. Because he etched on the bottom of it, "Yes, I am an asshole."
There we go.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, there were some fireworks that went off in the past couple of weeks.
This was just this week. This was Monday morning. And the best part about that whole thing is the insurgents went away with 2 injuries.
Oh, according to Arthur Ray, they're still there.
Well, I haven't heard much after Wednesday when they took Belgorod 22 and maybe took some Iskander missiles. Of course, not the nuclear configuration, which would have been even funnier, but they did take over Belgorod 22.
Yeah.
So, if you could see, there we go. For anyone that plays Hearts of Iron 4.
Nice.
Nice.
I mean, there is a reason why the U.S. invested so much in the military-industrial complexes, because people saw a way to get rich while also fear-mongering about Russia. And, well, let's put it this way. The fears and statements of Russia's military capability were significantly overblown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we recall to the space race, Russia did things just so they can claim first place. We did things because, oh shit, what if they're actually improving their weapons? Jump 3 technological generations. Go.
Well, see, that's the thing. If Russia actually wasn't corrupt as fuck, then their military might actually be something to be concerned with from a technological standpoint. The main thing that actually got the Russian military the reputation that it tries to capture, to capitalize off of, are the same fuckers they're fighting against right now.
Yep. Russians proper don't know how to fight. They up until the Soviet collapse, they've always imported their fighting force.
Well, it's not just that. And I think the troops, the army groups that got the most recognition as being badass motherfuckers during World War II and the Korean era were the Ukrainians. It wasn't that they outsourced. The Ukraine used to be a part of Russia and then part of the Soviet states and all of that fucking political bullshit. But when it came to the military side of it, they were very nationalized and regionalized in their army groups, And it was consistently the Ukrainian ones that were the ones that the enemies actually feared.
Yeah.
So why did they rely on the Ukrainians so much?
Badass motherfuckers.
Because the Ukrainians had been fighting wars since the days of the Vikings. Literally since the 10th, 12th centuries, they had been fighting. I mean, part of Kiev. Well, Kiev was known as the Kievan Rus. Okay, they were Viking settlers that overtook the native population there. Literally, and you take those two factors, the fact that Ukraine in one form or another for the last 1,500 years has been in a consistent state of war. One way, shape, form, or fashion, they just developed a diehard sense about it.
Well, it's not just that. Actually, Jay, if you can, go ahead and pull up a topographical map of Europe into Russia. Let's point something out to the general populace. Because there are two nations that actually have a lot of things in common, but have ended up in vastly different areas. Is Jay not there? He might have stepped away. Well, Cal, since you're presenting, go ahead and do a topographical map of Europe. Because people seem to forget that even in the state of military advancement today, topography still matters. So, actually, yeah. So, second row, fourth in from the left. Pull up that one.
This one?
Yep. The reason why that one is because they already have it outlining where Ukraine is.
God.
So great.
Open image in new tab.
Yeah,
Thank
there we
you.
go. So we can see where Ukraine is over towards, actually the people on the live stream can see my mouse, over in this area. You do have some hills and valleys, but not really the mountains like you see over here at the Alps or the Pyrenees or down into Asia Minor or down into Greece and the other parts of the Balkans. And actually, so that red country that's marked there is Romania. Welcome back, Jay. But
Yep.
So you have a lot of relatively open terrain in the Ukraine. Guess what other country has a lot of open terrain? Poland.
Russia.
No,
Oh.
Poland. So when you actually look at the topography, the Ukraine and Poland are constantly having wars and battles happen in their territory throughout history because it's easy to travel through. The difference is the Ukrainians actually got stronger with it, and the Polish are they're there.
There's a reason why everything funnels from the west and expands out eastward. Like Jared was saying when you're looking at this map, and it is literally the worst part of war in Europe is that bottleneck right at the Polish border.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Let's be fair to Poland, though. However, if you kind of look at it, it is open territory, which kind of gets there, but it's also crammed in there between Russia and Germany.
Well, I mean, to the victor the spoils, just sometimes the other victor wants the other half.
yeah, it's when you look. That is actually one reason why I actually took Western Civ as electives in college, because world history after midway through the semester of Western Civ 1 is effectively military history.
Yeah.
Jared, I really quick, I have to do something. I just noticed the chat.
Ring my bell to be a special subscriber.
Well, she does have an invitation to come on. I understand that the Mister is out of town, so we could really have fun with him, Karis, if you wanted to.
Please do.
Could make him listen in. Then again, my phone would probably start blowing up with a bunch of texts saying, "I'll cut you." Which actually,
Not wrong there.
actually, yeah, he should have my number.
Oh, hi, Karis.
Oh,
Well, there you go. You even have his permission.
He'll get himself banned from. Oh no.
You know what? It seems like if he's not in trouble on Twitter, I am.
yeah, I post just as much as you guys do, and I'm never in trouble. What gives? And I post same shit.
And apparently, the original Twitter account tied to my main email at one point or another got deleted this year. So I was able to make a completely new account.
Yeah, I chalk it up to apparently Big Brother sees me as a threat or that much of an asshole that they don't want people listening to me. No idea why.
It's because you're an asshole.
But am I ever wrong? Like, am I ever massively wrong when I'm being an asshole?
According to some hurt fifis, probably.
Yeah.
But then again, those are hurt fifis, so those don't count.
Those are people who are upset by reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say he who should not be named, but
That really doesn't narrow it down for me.
There's a lot of Voldemorts around here.
You're my boy, Jared.
Oh, you mean the fuck stain that I got his Discord nuked for a while because he decided to be a drunken asshat?
Yeah, Mr. Lego Man. Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, there are certain people out there that talk a big game and say they do things in a certain way, but then get all sorts of bent out of shape when you give them the treatment back that they say that they give to people.
Mm-hmm.
Funny how that double standard works. But then again, I mean, there are people out there that if they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all.
Yeah.
I have found somebody that can give us an unbiased opinion, Jared.
An unbiased opinion about what?
IHOP or Denny's?
Ooh.
Denny's over the top. Denny's.
I'm posting the link to the video in the YouTube chat.
You know what? This is actually a difficult choice for me because Denny's is consistently better with how they cook the eggs. But IHOP has better ingredients otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it just determines it really comes down to, is it Veterans Day or not? Because if it is, Denny's all day simply because I'll eat for free.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm always a risk taker when it comes to IHOP. For whatever reason, their omelets do not agree with me very very well. But that bacon temptation omelet.
Ooh.
You know what I'm talking about, Jared.
Yeah. Would you like a little bit of egg with your meat?
And cheese. Don't forget the cheese. It is cheesy goodness.
Yeah.
Now, if only I can get them to put sausage in there too with it.
Oh, you just order it on the side and mix it in yourself. But no. If we're going to be going down the road of restaurant breakfast food, there is one that I do qualify as a guilty pleasure. Which, when I was traveling as much as I was at one of my previous employers, I made it a point to stop there at least once each trip.
Oh yeah.
Waffle House.
Yeah.
Yes.
The place that never closes. Do you know they have an emergency team to get a store up and running within 24 hours if it goes down?
What?
Yes.
Is that related to the disaster nonsense?
Yes.
Yes. There is a Waffle House measure for disasters.
I knew about the measure that FEMA unofficially uses, but there's a whole ass emergency team?
Yes.
Yes. The dude, El Reno tornado wiped out the Waffle House in El Reno, Oklahoma. Completely scrubbed it clean of the foundation within 72 hours. It was rebuilt and up and running.
What?
Yep.
Oh shit.
There's rural parts of my state that, like when there's been a snowstorm and they want to determine whether the school should open or not, they call the Waffle House to see if it's open or not.
That would be
Hey
good.
kids, how about a field trip to Waffle House today?
Look,
Yeah,
it's
right.
like if the Waffle House is open, then the roads are clear enough.
Oh, look at all that! Look at all the farmer salvaged Soviet tanks.
Oh, this was the border crossing at Graveron, supposedly. So this is apparently all the insurgents.
Well, you know, I mean, the tanks. I heard the tanks are going cheap over there.
I say apparently, because
Well,
Yeah.
you do know.
I've
you can
heard that
always
the
trust-
insurgents only captured one tank and a couple other support vehicles.
That would be
And
a
they had,
couple
like,
of
80
support
dudes.
vehicles.
Yeah,
No, like single digits, like you
It-
can use one hand.
Yeah, but remember, you can always trust state-run media.
I'm not sure if that was state-run media.
look at your image. Look where it's from. Chinese.
But
Yeah, and I have no idea. Well, apparently it was May of this year, but when during the month?
yeah, and even then, keep in mind the press release, the verbiage of what was going on. Where was that coming from? Russian state media.
Yeah.
Fair.
Remember, you can always trust that Big Brother has your best interest at heart.
Oh, yes, most definitely. To be honest, I didn't even notice the
until,
Chinese
of course,
watermark until like 10 minutes ago. But whatever. This was just posted as funny.
So what was that you were trying to say you wished?
I said until it. You can always trust that Big Brother has your best interest at heart until it doesn't. And when is it ever?
Oh, no. We always have your best interest at heart. We want you to survive. We want you to be a good, productive worker. But then again, that is also why it's been rather interesting, the shitstorm that I caused on Twitter under a thread about, well, that included Star Trek. It was Star Trek adjacent. Oh, Jay, did you go read through that thread?
Which thread?
The socialism one.
Oh, what type of fuckery did you do, Jared?
So
Wait. No. I know which thread he's talking about. I don't.
Oh no. Oh no.
I might need a link back to that one, Jared.
It's in the Canarwood Tamar text chat.
Yeah, I remember seeing it somewhere.
Yeah, I put it in there. So for quick reference, while Jay
Which text chat?
brings it up. Now, there's a group chat that Jay is in that I posted it.
Oh.
So a Trekkie Bill on Twitter posted a GIF, posted a meme that had Geordie LaForge pretty much approving, denying, giving opinions about the whole, this is socialism, this is capitalism, with that image of the adult, the teenager, and the
Hold on, I got
little
it right
kid
here.
at the baseball game.
I got it right here. Let me share my screen.
Which
Oh,
means you will
no.
have to stop, Cal.
Okay. I stop for now. But there are more memes to be had.
So, in response to this,
Yes. Totally accurate.
I decided to point out that, yes, in theory, the lower one is kind of right. However, funny how every time socialism and its necessary offspring, communism, have been attempted, it ends up with the same or worse disparity than in capitalism. But right. That's because those weren't really socialist countries.
No, Jared, you forget that, socialism works in computer simulations.
Yes. Soviet workers and resources.
Well, so hang on. Right here. And this was my main point throughout the entire freaking thread. Any system can work when you take out the human element. It's almost like people are always the fucking problem.
Yeah, that's ultimately the problem. Like, you look at socialism, like there really isn't any communism, just because, well, if you look at all the communist countries, they're not communist. They're not textbook communist. They are socialist countries. But communism has the same communism technically is anarchic. It should be anarchical. It has the same problem as anarcho capitalism.
Yeah, there are a lot of
People
that
don't
got
work that
butthurt.
way.
Right, and that was my point throughout all of it, is that it doesn't matter what system you put in place. It doesn't matter how perfect you get the framework. If there is a human involved anywhere in the process, it's going to get fucked up.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like anarcho-capitalism's. It's like anarcho-capitalism's enlightened self-interest. The problem is people aren't very enlightened.
This was my favorite one, Jared.
That response? Oh, and the fucker blocked me for it.
Whoa.
Yeah, go ahead and zoom out, scroll up a bit so people can see the entirety of it.
And I never actually personally like with Star Trek of like calling the
Over a fucking GIF. What
Because,
a child.
well, so scroll up and look at what he actually commented. It was like, neither of them even claim to be anymore. Not even the fucking point.
Yeah, so what if they don't claim to be communist anymore? That doesn't mean that they're suddenly not communist.
Oh, and that guy, Shai says protect trans rights for all of them. They really didn't like that I started quoting Marx to them.
Oh, no.
You didn't.
Yes.
Oh, he did.
Directly incompatible with dictatorship. Yes, because Stalin was so loving and caring of his people.
Hang on. Not just that. I didn't even go that route. I just pointed out that it is incompatible with dictatorship. Yet Marx himself said that dictatorship was required to effect the change necessary.
Huh. It's almost as if these people are about as stupid as Bible thumpers who don't even know how to read the Bible or are told specifically not to read the Bible because that goes against their pastor's will. Sounds like a cult.
You know, they didn't
No.
call communism a cult of personality.
Jared, I didn't see this one.
Neither did I.
Oh, God.
So apparently, me repeatedly from the beginning saying it's humans that are the fucking problem. Apparently, I'm moving the goalpost by repeating myself.
It's almost as if they're trying to project.
Well, the funny thing is the dictatorship of the proletariat has nothing to do with state dictatorships.
Except that's exactly what it fucking is.
Exactly, because when you have a dictatorship of the proletariat, the dictators don't want to give up their power. So what happens? They take over as dictator of the state.
No, it's even more based than that. When you have a dictatorship of the proletariat, they are the fucking state.
Well,
Which then don't they just become the bourgeois?
But the problem is that they can't grasp the concept of the circular reasoning of the communist state. So
It's almost as it looks like a flat tard standing on a globe Earth.
I'm your king. Well, I didn't vote for you.
You don't vote for kings. Well, then who gave you your power? The lady in the lake did bestowed upon me.
Monty Python.
That section of Monty Python is just fucking classic.
Oh, yeah.
Grin, how many things of Monty Python that were presented as jokes in the 70s and early 80s have sadly started to become reality?
I'm not sure I want to know that number.
Life of Brian, Monty Python,
Yep.
Holy Grail. Half the skits on Flying Circus.
Yes.
Over half.
How not to be seen.
The entire spam skit.
Bloody Vikings.
Let's see. The meaning of life, corporate accountancy.
Every life is sacred.
Actually, back to it though. Actually, technically, the dictator of the proletariat makes sense. The problem is, it's never actually that.
Nope.
Well, and that was what I was driving to, is that all of these instances, when someone gets into a position of power, of significant power, without fail, they will be corrupted by that power. And then corrupt the system.
Yeah, also if you look at the system, if you look at the systems, like they might have started as the proletariat, but once they've gotten to power, they're no longer the proletariat anymore. They're just exercising power, but they're not members of the proletariat anymore. They've left the proletariat.
Right.
And they crashed their Twitter space on day
It ultimately
one.
goes, as Jared said, it's a people problem. The systems work in theory, but they only work when people don't act like people.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is why when that first one was commenting, well, in computer simulations, I'm like, yeah, great, take the human element out of it. You do that, any system works.
Yes, because independent thought cannot exist within communism. Otherwise, it don't work.
Well, it's not
Just
just
like we've seen in real life.
It's
To
not
quote
just
George
independent
Carlin,
thought.
the planet's fine. The people are fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been... That was an interesting day.
I had an interesting day the last couple days on Twitter too.
Oh, yeah, so I'm sorry I didn't watch all of the stream with you, Steve, and Jay, because I was having dinner.
That's perfectly fine. Basically,
yes.
all of us agreed that we
we
could have learned something had Dave stayed on topic. Go figure, huh?
Yeah, it's almost like he wasn't there to actually debate the topic. He went into that entire thing with an agenda and pretty much fuck decorum. Fuck being civil. I mean,
Yeah.
and here's, to me, here's the most scary part of situations like that. There are people who are dumb enough to fall into the tribalism and say, "Oh, there was nothing wrong with Dave's performance."
Oh yeah, we didn't even touch on the tribalism part, which we wanted to, and we forgot. Sai kind of distracted us because we were like, "Ooh, knowledge. Let's talk about knowledge." I mean, it's a fair comp, right? But yeah, no, my
Hey guys,
my
can I
better
share this
videos.
real quick? Can I share this real quick?
Hold on. Sharing my analytics for my latest video.
And doop, there we go. Now people can see it. Hey, nice.
Hey, Dave, what are you going to do this weekend?
Y'all hear it?
Well, Ken, I was thinking
Yep.
maybe
Yeah.
I'd go to Disneyland. I hear they got a great new ride there called the Haunted Mansion. Frank Sinatra took a girl there last week, and it scared the pants off him. At least that's what he told the judge. But, you know, Frank is a different kind of guy. Usually...
Excuse me, have you ever been in Schenectady?
No, I never was in Schenectady.
Neither was I. Must have been a couple other guys. But I still have a feeling I've seen your face someplace else.
No, it's always been right here. Right on top of my neck. Maybe you've seen me on television.
Oh no, I've never been on television. Say, is it all right? If I join you, I just dropped in for a little drink to settle my nerves before I go to work.
What sort of work do you do?
I'm an airline pilot.
Better him than a flurf.
Yep.
Oh come on, we all knew that
How did you
Dave Nodell
get to
or
be an
Bob Nodell
airline
was a
pilot?
pilot.
I used to be a bus driver.
No.
I quit. Too many
Actually-
drunks on the road.
There's a good question.
What do
All
you
right.
fly?
Oh, it's one of those big gray metal
You
things.
trying to get him copyright claimed here?
Sticking out on the side.
Yeah. You wished. Are you trying to get shit shut down? Short clips are one thing. Entire fucking segments are another.
Come
But
on, man.
Anyway, Jay, that is
You
Foster
were supposed
Brooks.
to be a year
That-
sober.
Okay.
That is Foster Brooks, the drunk. That he started off the greatest drunk comedy you could have, except for maybe W.C. Fields.
I call him tater salad.
Yeah, he's sobered up now.
Yeah, but once you start as a drunk comic and you get popular that way, are you ever as good when you go sober?
Oh yeah,
Probably not.
No.
It's a sad reality when you think about it in that way.
And for the record, I'm off probation, so I can drink.
Yay.
But should you?
Probably not.
All right. So the video before that one, Jared. Here's my analytics on that. If it'll show.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Hey, decent.
Two decent
Yeah.
ones right in a row.
Well, and also look at the subject matter. I mean, that and the timing of it kind of helps. Which that's part of the discussion for later if the fucker is still awake.
Oh, okay.
And yes, Mark, that bit of Ron White is probably my favorite. Between that and the Late night watching the televangelists.
Oh,
Are you
no.
naked in a beanbag chair eating Cheetos? Yes, sir. Do you want to send me $1,000? Almost.
I do have to correct Mark though. It said I wanted to be drunk at a bar. I was drunk at a bar. They threw me into public. Arrest them.
Back when the Blue Collar Comedy Tour was good.
Oh. We are a bunch of irreverent assholes, aren't we?
Other favorite from that was like I don't. Oh, what was it? How'd it go? Oh, I didn't know how many. I didn't know how many it was gonna take to kick my ass, but I knew how many they were gonna use.
It's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Oh.
That's actually one of the few things with Carlin that I actually disagreed with. Most of his political commentary, he was right on. But the American dream actually is achievable. There's a mentality that goes into it.
Well, you have to take a level of personal responsibility and accountability to it.
Which a lot of people on the communist left just don't want to do.
No, it's on all fucking sides. And and the personal accountability is only one part of it. There's another bit to it. Tenacity. You have to be pissed off to not give up. That's why that is actually the main reason why a lot of people succeed, is because regardless of what they had to deal with, they didn't stop.
What the?
Oh yeah, that one on the plane. Oh, hey man, I mean, we lose another engine. How far is the plane going to take us? All the way to the scene of the crash.
We'll beat the rescue squad there by 15 minutes. Traveling at half the speed of snow.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
I have confidently incorrect much?
Well, yeah, I'm wondering what led up to that. My damn.
Supposedly this.
Yeah, there are fucking crazies all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget your towel.
And now for
maybe the trans should just have their own league and leave everyone else alone.
No. What was it? They did a skit. It was a funny skit. It was the first unregulated Olympic sport, all drugs involved.
Oh no!
That would be an interesting watch. But I have a feeling the Russians and China would just dominate.
Well, it's funny because at the end
they would either dominate in performance or dominate with the graveyard
or with drugs. Well, it was funny. It's like this person's taking this, and this, and this. He does a deadlift, and as soon as he pulls up, both his arms come off. And of course, the announcer's like, "Well, he won't be feeling that until the morning because of all the drugs he's on."
Well, there is a thing called working out to the point of failure, but that's taking it to a new level.
But you want to bring that up, the guy that played the mountain in
Game of Thrones.
Which one? The original one or the recast season or two later?
whichever one the huge guy was, he was powerlifting and ripped both of his biceps from his arms.
Ooh.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me for the power for the world's strongest man competitions. The shit that they do is ridiculous.
He was just doing a bench press.
Well, yeah, but he was a competitor in World's Strongest Man. That's why he was that size. And when you think about what it takes to get up to that mass and that strength level, doing something routine, if you slip and you go in the wrong direction just a slight bit, holy fuck, are you going to tear shit up?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you figure that his lightweight warm-up is double most people's personal records.
He probably just goes out. He probably goes out and benches his truck every morning.
If you really want to fix that whole sports thing, what everybody needs to do is sit down and do some actual analysis, because there's some stuff that's gendered that doesn't really need to be.
Yeah.
And for example, like bicycle races that are over 300 kilometers, like the really hefty ones.
Oh yeah.
There's no gender difference at that stage, because any specific benefits that female and male body types have ironed out at that point.
Like what is those ultra marathons or what are they called?
Yeah, ultra marathon. It's like,
because at that point it's just surviving endurance.
Yeah. At that point, like there's some benefits that male metabolisms have over females, but it irons out because it mostly comes to guys are a lot of good at short energy bursts, but women are better at long sustained stuff. It all irons out when you get to extreme long distances. So
it's like those.
No reason they need to be gendered.
It's like those triathlons. What is it? You start out. Was it biking? Is it biking first or running first? Then you have to swim. And as soon as you swim, then bike. Yeah, that's what you call endurance.
Yeah, but you need to sit down. You need to go through each of them and get rid of ungender the ones that don't need to be gendered. There's certain ones that do need to be gendered. You just need to come up with criteria. I mean,
I posted
that
link to the video, Jay, in the side chat. So anybody who wants to go watch that video can. I don't recommend we play it here. Because you literally audio hear the muscles ripping from his body. It was... Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. As someone who has experienced severe tearing of soft and muscle fiber in their body, I don't want to hear it again.
The hell?
I mean, you literally hear it and see it. That's how bad it is.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No thanks.
The interesting ones are when you watch someone and they rupture their Achilles. You see their calf just contort in different ways.
Oh, what was it? I think I posted in the What the Fuck channel. What was it? It was an MMA fighter got kicked in the nuts and his one ball exploded.
Oh,
his testicles. You didn't actually see it, but you could see the pain in his face, and he was on the ground just rolling.
Oh,
yeah, There are some things that it doesn't matter how much machismo you have.
Yeah.
There are some things that are just going to take the wind out of you no matter what.
Having a testicle rupture will do that to you.
Yep, I posted it on the 18th. It was an MMA fighter. His left nut completely explodes on impact.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to see that.
Luckily, you don't actually see that part, but yeah, you can see the pain he's in, and he's rolling on the ground. He's just
a thumbnail. I'm like, no, I'm not watching that. I'm not even going to share.
Oh, that one. Yeah, no.
And where is it at? The What the Fuck channel?
I can't even What the Fuck channel. Yeah, it's back. I posted it back on the 18th.
Yeah, it's
Where's the What the Fuck channel at?
It's called "I Just Can't Even."
What the fuck?
Okay.
You wish
Yeah.
has to find the exploding balls.
There's a fascination with other men's balls.
Well,
Oh,
he needs to find a good fuel source for that super train.
Yeah,
Oh,
Here, I'll send.
Roden sent you a link, Jared.
Yeah, yeah, it's for the Super Olympics and. I can agree with Heinlein for that one. Unless you intend to kill him, never kick a man in the balls.
I have a question we have to decide with science by polling with from all of us. So, question is, would you eat this?
Uh-oh. What is that?
Mac and cheese, pulled pork,
Hamburger and cheeseburgers, looks like. Several of them.
1, 2,
four
some
patties
bacon
of burger with
Jeez.
4 slices of cheese, a slap of pulled pork, and a slap of macaroni with another slice of cheddar on top of the mac. I would eat that with a fork.
I am
You heathen.
I am all for some crazy
here's why with a fork.
adaptations.
All of that barbecue and mac that's going to fall out of the sides, that's why the fork.
That's what you get it for.
So that's the problem I have with food items like that. It's impractical. It's like you can't eat. Like, why are you putting that in a burger form?
Right, but this is where I agree with Mark. Get rid of the bread, and I'd eat it. Well, he also got rid of the pasta, but no. Get rid of the bun, and I'd go to town on that.
Here you go. See, this is a work plant where Jared didn't work and things screwed up.
Tell them if you would eat that or not.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I've worked on machines like that.
Fucking
Yeah, but watch.
Yes, I would. I'm that fucking hungry.
Hold on, say no. Say no.
Do I need to?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, keep watching.
Oh, Burns is sharing something with us. If it'll ever load, I might actually have to start shutting down programs.
Fuck. Dave?
There comes the ceiling.
Fuck.
Wow.
Hey, it's Chernobyl 2.0.
Not quite.
I'm not sure what the piece of equipment was, but yeah.
That was that looked
Right
like
there.
a metalizer.
Yeah.
That went to shit very quick.
Yes, it did.
Oh no, I know what that is. That's an aluminum extrusion machine.
Oh.
Aluminum extruder?
And you saw the failure point was up here. It started shooting grease or whatever right up the top.
Hydraulic.
And,
Right there.
and
Yep,
watch over
hydraulic.
to the Yep.
And
There
then
was
just
also
popped.
a failure down below by the person on the left.
I know he's
he
holding
was turning on a torch.
Yeah, he's got an acetylene torch in his hand, I think.
And then all that grease caught fire
Well,
from
hydraulic. That's hydraulic fluid.
Yeah.
And look at that. It just went. And
so it caught fire from behind the machine?
no, on
No,
top. Yeah,
from
there was something
inside.
behind the machine caught it fire. I don't know what.
No,
My guess
I'm
is-
guessing. I'm guessing there's probably something heated back there related to the aluminum that it caught on. Which
So what a machine like that does is it takes a 2-foot long, generally 18-inch diameter chunk of aluminum, superheats it through a furnace before it loads into the main RAM, which then heats it up even more and actually remember those Play-Doh machines that you
yes.
And that's essentially what it's doing, but to near molten aluminum. So yes, it is exceptionally fucking hot around that entire thing. So having that hydraulic fluid leak, what it was is that is what caught fire, was that hydraulic fluid.
Mm-hmm.
It's that superheated around the area that you get a leak like that during operations. That can happen. That's why preventative maintenance is a huge thing to do, especially on hydraulic systems around high heat.
I wonder if
Yeah,
they
well, that
made
high-
it out all right.
Yeah, when you have that high pressure hydraulics like that, when that stuff comes out, it's atomized. It might as well be a gas.
Yep.
Yep.
Aluminum
The answer
powder
is
hanging out on top of the
where
beams.
the hydraulic
trusses.
failure occurs.
Oh, aluminum powder with steel beams. That's thermite.
Yep.
That's effectively what it turned into.
Yeah, that's how the building went out.
Well, I found out what Tech is doing this weekend. He's going to play World of Warships.
Oh, what they released?
Why
now.
am I playing World of Warships?
You're playing the real life version of it.
Oh.
Wait, is that the battle canoe?
Actually, no. There's a bunch of enthusiasts
that.
who actually do that.
Well, yeah,
right?
I posted the link that goes to the. They actually replaced the people with RC now, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they used to do it by hand back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole community of remote control war
Enthusiasts.
gamers.
Yeah.
They do it with tanks too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But you got to be thinking. You got to be in that thing, and then you have these micro explosions happening around you.
Oh yes, that would be fun.
Oh, the things we used to do back in the day.
Go fishing with M80s.
I don't know how many of those there at the bottom of City Lake and Mesquite, but there's a bunch of them.
So what other fuckery was afoot that caught your attention, Gal?
It was mostly just Belgorod.
I mean, Russia has been fucking around a lot lately, so...
They've been
And
finding
there-
out.
More memes that came about from earlier in the week. So, obligatory Simpsons meme.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Russia's been just used to brute forcing stuff for so long. So.
Yeah.
If you look at that's why they built their gigantic bomb. They built their gigantic bomb because their guidance system sucked.
4chan got turned into the Mercy Overwatch meme. You are getting liberated, you moron.
So there is a meme that I came across earlier today that was pretty funny. And it was the different spellings of prostitute.
What?
Oh, no.
So yes, it was showing the different spellings of the word prostitute based on nationality. So you had your British, you had your French, you had your Spanish. But then it had the Ukrainian flag. And the Ukrainian word for prostitute was the Polish flag.
Oh.
Well, it's not wrong.
The dildo of consequences have arrived.
So what you watching, you wished?
And it rarely arrives lubed.
This one did not arrive lubed at all.
It never arrives lubed. What are you talking about?
Also, obligatory Seinfeld meme.
Yeah, don't ask us, don't ask. Well, it is only fair that Russia tries to annex parts of Ukraine, that Ukraine does it back. I mean, eye for an eye. I mean, we want to play a fair game, right? You want equality of outcome, right, people?
MacArthur has entered the chat.
Oh, come on. How are you going to insult primates that way?
Trust the plan.
You know what? What if? Now follow me on this one. What if this whole thing, the entirety of Putin's political career, has just been a ruse with the intent of just completely demolishing the Russian state?
Oh, big psyop.
Yep.
As Tekka said before, there is no such thing as a former KGB agent. So
No. Specifically, it's Putin is ex-KGB, and there's no such thing as an ex-KGB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a picture of him telling Reagan. Oh my God.
Belgorod 22.
Now, what's really bad is you have a bad photo edit on top of a bad photo edit.
Yeah. This was probably just a really bad MS Paint edit, but it's still very apt.
But why put that mask over top of Zelensky?
Because there's actually a mission in Payday 2 where you steal nuclear warheads.
But why not just use his face?
What is his face? You just have the masks.
Well, no, because here's the thing. The proper response is, I don't know, I need to pull it out from those dancers' tits.
Oh.
Because people... Oh, Cal, do you remember how Zelensky came to fame and then political power?
He was a comedian before he turned to politics,
A
right?
sketch artist comedian with a musical flair that was doing a song that kept getting distracted by the big bosoms of the dancers around him.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
So he is essentially the Ukrainian Reagan.
Oh, no.
Only he actually is fighting the Russians.
And doing a pretty good job at it, too.
Well, yeah, Rodin has it right. He was as effectively the Ukrainian version of Jon Stewart. Back when Jon Stewart was good and funny.
Benny Hill? Come on now.
No, he's
I don't know.
a mix of both. He could be a mix of both.
Some of the unedited and uncensored Benny Hill shows on HBO when I was a kid, and I mean he would chase the tail. I mean, you can't really blame Benny. I mean, always surrounded by beautiful women with no tops on. I mean, I chase that too.
Do I need an upgrade for no reason at all?
Depends on the upgrade.
Well, that's just it.
Are we talking Cyberman type upgrade?
No. We're talking the upgrade that deals with
Daddy, my ears are bleeding. Make it stop.
the sound pads or lack thereof. There's an updated version of the Rodecaster that is coming out soon. That's much smaller form factor.
And you've had yours for how long now?
Oh yeah, and I probably will keep it. It's just pre-planning and having it prepared and set aside for when I need it.
But are you ever actually going to need it?
I could actually take the second one as a definite travel and go.
Oh, you mean
podcast.
like we were talking about before, about 6 months ago?
Yeah, when I couldn't go on my cruise because I didn't could get the time off. Yeah. No, this one's actually a much smaller unit. It's a dual podcast instead of a quad.
Ah.
So.
Wait, an actual USB-C connections? Ooh.
Two of them. Well, technically 3. You got one for power. But I could connect up to 2 computers. Plus, I could connect it to the internet directly. But that's again, it's much smaller form factor.
Yeah, well, it's meant to be on the go. It's supposed to be that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I could also just, if I really wanted the small form factor, I could just go with this guy.
Look like you're going to play Simon Says with it.
Yeah, but you only have one mic input of the form factor that you prefer. Nah. And it's only... Wait. It's only the 4 buttons, but how many different programs can you have it set up for? Because I see the left and right, so how many pages of options do you have?
Preset macros or whatever, yeah.
Probably not a lot.
Or not enough? Ah, okay. So that's not bad when you think about it, because that's 32 different items you could have hotkeyed there. You just have to remember which page you're on.
Yeah.
8 pages. Chrome is dying.
Would you like to reboot, Jay?
Would you like to know more?
Yeah, there's a...
Ooh. Oh yeah, new game from the creators of Squad.
Well, not just that. There was a comment that Jay made in one of those 2 videos he's released recently. I know it was tongue-in-cheek, and I know he threw it out there. Do we need to remove the other ones, Jay?
Sure.
Remove the other J. He's duplicating.
There we go.
Yeah,
so Jay, how tongue-in-cheek was that Starship Troopers reference you made?
Which
I'm
one?
pretty sure it was in the Dave, the video about Dave and McRae.
Here we go. You want to feel?
Slightly.
You want to watch? Here, feel some pain.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. See, it doesn't have the same visual oomph
right there.
through Google's fucking choppy ass bitrate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy was stupid. We were talking about M80s earlier.
Oh no.
And sits on it.
No.
And regrets his life choices.
He's gonna go into the ceiling, isn't he?
Well, it blew up all right. Don't know what kind of damage it did. Oh no,
That
here.
helps a little.
Oh,
no.
I've seen this one.
Oh no.
That's not going to be able to support her weight.
No, keep watching.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
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 She
So
got
she makes
farther
it to
than
the
I
end and
expected.
then falls off.
Oh no, here we go.
No,
Gun safety, folks.
No, you stupid bitch.
Talk
Good.
about gun safety.
Lose your perm. Lose your perm. Do not put it
Yeah,
back on.
that's
Fuck
not
you.
a perm. That's a weave. That's a weave.
Don't care.
Yep. Now she put a
Leave it
hole
on
in
the
it.
ground.
Yeah.
Leave it on the ground.
Yep.
There you go. Perfect wallpaper, doesn't he?
Oh, the placement.
And of course it's Chinese.
Oh.
At that point, it's just
That hole's too small. That hole's too small. That was an exit wound, not an entrance wound.
What?
If you're not sure what these are, chocolates that kind of help you get it up.
Oh, so they're the replacement for the blue pill.
Exactly. and you're supposed to. From looks of it, you're supposed to break them and only take half. He took a whole.
Are they sure that he took both halves in one go?
Yeah. I like the little icon.
no.
I like the little icon underneath it.
He could have shared.
Break, bite, bang.
Oh, here we go.
My finger.
That is
Close ad.
accurate.
Yes.
You gotta love the shit they find on Twitter.
Also, yeah. Yeah. Me on 4 bars, me on 1 bar with an ad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's so wrong.
Ads.
Oh, all size comparison. Yep.
And they gotta make their money somehow. I mean, free to play isn't free to win.
Not sure what's going on here.
Can't see from the
yeah.
rate either.
Oh no, here we go.
Yep.
No, yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Just reposted a meme.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And that thing about Kevin Patriot Skywalker, ad blockers are now disabled on YouTube, according to new terms of service.
Yep.
So now you have to get premium or whatever.
About rage, all of it. Just give 15 seconds.
No. The shortest Raid Shadow Legends ad I've seen was still a minute long.
Shortest.
Yeah.
Wait,
Is that someone doing a sponsored ad read on their own video
Oops.
or like
Yes.
a dedicated? Oh,
Thunk. Oh.
that's a broken nose.
See, Mark Beiser has it right again. If you're worried about ad blockers not working when you're on YouTube, stop using Chrome, go back to Firefox. Which actually, the Firefox, not actually a fox for its logo.
Oh no.
Not
It's
anymore.
No. When you look at their classic logo, it was never a fox. It was a red panda.
Action figure. Your vaping action figure.
Hey, somebody send that to Uni.
Yeah.
No. No. No.
You gotta love those optical illusions.
Skip button.
It's true.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Yep.
You need a fucking microscope just to see the close ad button. I think there's just replies. Let me see if there's. Feel happy for him. Okay.
I mean,
not wrong.
Kind of got a point.
You good? No. Oh. Oh.
She knows she's an ad. Who wants to eat them when they're literally anybody to eat? Oh yeah. What the heck?
Who knows?
It's the internet.
Wait. Was that the Queen of England dancing?
Yes, it was.
Guarantee you someone in England went to jail for it.
Here.
Irony.
Yeah.
I feel attacked with that one.
Yeah, these are just replies. Oh no. Oh, there you go. Mattresses just for your doggies.
Sad part is each one of the labs would still use that one.
There you go. Perfect captcha.
Oh no.
Let's see here.
Now, what if Waldo is on the line between two of them, and that's why you can't see it?
Hate it when they do that.
Or, just select the square with his fucking face in the top, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Galaxy Z Fold.
Oh, no.
I'm good. Oh, yes, here's the Terminator.
Hey, assassins. Yes. Oh. Oh.
Just do it tomorrow.
Ancient Rage comics.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens.
Apple, Android, Apple. Let's see here if it's. Nope, I think it's all. No, that's all I got. Oh my goodness.
There's still a few more memes to be had.
Memes.
Vegans protesting at In-N-Out.
Oh, gee, I saw that.
Wait. There were vegans protesting outside of an In-N-Out burger?
No, inside.
Oh boy.
Were they protesting over the potatoes?
No, they ran out of animal sauce.
Oh.
Which that's the thing. How many people would I piss off if I said that I find In-N-Out burgers overrated?
I don't disagree.
Not many, because they are.
Well, I understand the appeal for those of us that can only have them every so often. That being said, I've never had a Whataburger, but I bet it's also overrated.
Try a Whataburger first. Add jalapeno.
If you've had one fast food burger, you've had them all.
No, you haven't. No. There is a distinctive level of Whataburger, level of goodness, and if you knew the secret ingredients, you'd probably throw up. But
kind of like if you wanted to know what actually goes into a hot dog.
No, it's even worse than that.
How does it get worse than what you want? What actually goes into a hot dog?
Yeah, I was going to say, how does it get worse than actual scrap meat?
Because there's no food handling regulations.
For Whataburger?
Yeah, they don't wear gloves.
How do they not abide by FDA?
So here is the loophole that they use, which I've seen other restaurants use it too. You don't need the gloves technically if you're only handling the raw product, because if it goes into a heat that is high enough, it kills the bacteria and germs anyways.
Yep.
Mm.
And Whataburger
so then they just do whatever then.
The only time they wear gloves is when they're putting the vegetables and the spreads on their burgers. Vegetable, cheese, and spread.
For me, I wouldn't care. Glove it up all the way.
But, I mean, considering that, okay, their meat ships frozen, like umpteen billion other fast food restaurants, including Burger King.
All but Wendy's.
All but Wendy's. The thing is that with all Wendy's, they have to source within 200 miles for their meat.
Yep. And whatever meat that they don't use on that day becomes the next day's chili.
Yep.
So they actually do advertise properly with fresh meat.
Yes.
They are one of the few that is actually accurate in their advertisement in that regard, yes.
Hey, Cal, I need to share my screen really quick.
Yep.
But I'm watching what Tech is doing.
Yeah, but I think we should encourage people.
You're watching what I'm doing?
Oh no.
Yeah, we need to tag more flurfs with that one.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you at V'ger?
Yes.
You're in the wrong generation of ship to be at V'ger.
It's a Connie class. It's a Constitution class.
From the bastardization timeline.
Who the fuck cares?
From Kurtzman Trek.
Speaking
of... No. That is the Discovery and Strange New Worlds version of the Enterprise.
Speaking of Trek, should we discuss the theory I had, or the fan fiction I came up with, like on the moment, in the spur of the moment yesterday?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Well, so let's frame this the full way though. So Brendan Worrell sent me a message and asking if there was like an official timeline for Trek. So I gave him my breakdown of the timelines, where you have the original series, the animated series, TNG, DS9, Voyager, the original series crew movies, and the first two movies of the TNG crew as definitively prime timeline. Where it starts to get murky, though, is because of the events of First Contact, Star Trek Enterprise, most likely a non-prime universe events, which to me it makes sense for that to be the pre-Federation era before Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and Picard. Where it gets interesting is whether or not you hold to Insurrection and Nemesis as being prime timeline or not because of the events of First Contact. And then, of course, you have the Kelvin timeline, which is its third timeline all of its own, which was admitted to being so to begin with.
All right. To which I responded when he shared it in our little group. It's about as accurate as you're going to get without sitting down and watching everything. And I met with him, so you could explain it. And I said, also, didn't TOS have like a 2-part thing where Bones going back in time and causing changes to the timeline?
Yeah, the Gateway of Forever.
This City on the Edge of...
Yep, City on the Edge of Forever.
To which I then said, I know, and I understand they didn't understand timelines like we do. But wouldn't it be interesting if one small change happened, like Bones and Chapel were married, and then before the motion picture, Bones transports aboard. You got to explain that Chapel became an MD, and this caused his second divorce. To which Jared's like, ooh, interesting. And then I said, and the fact Kirk didn't know about the divorce could make the draft comment even more fun. And then Kirk would say, well, now is the best time to tell you, best of time as any to tell you, Chapel is on board as ... And then Bones' line about Chapel better not contradict his diagnoses comes in, and then Kirk finishes, as a nurse because her MD license was revoked for practicing Andorian homeopathy on Tellarites. Bones responds with, about damn time. I liked it. Oh, did you see the tweet I sent you from Aiden? Jared?
I don't think so.
Here, I'll share it with everybody.
Okay, I'll unpin tech for now.
Just for now.
Oh,
that went a little too far.
Yeah. So when you look at the images, scroll up.
His palm fart.
So, yes, because Texas teens have been charged with felonies for allegedly unleashing a noxious fart spray inside their school as a prank, sickening multiple students and triggering evacuations. Reds, it's the same link as before, you fuck. I told you that earlier.
Hey, I found You Wish's car.
Oh, yeah?
In the river?
No,
Whoa.
he's not an orc.
That is
very orcish or chaos worshipy.
Really? Really, Reds? You can't open up your goddamn Google chat?
God damn.
Hey, look at that semi.
What? Oh. That entire midsection is just house.
And it's the previous fucking message, you lazy ass.
Don't know.
Talk about some shitty car mods there.
Oh God. What in the hell?
You don't want to know.
Of course it's from the army.
There you go. A shitty Benz.
TV2 that's used his 50K bonus sign-on bonus to get that piece of shit. Huh? What?
A convertible Benz that has a yeah.
What?
What's with that shit up at the top of the rear wheels?
I know.
Huh? Huh?
How about that?
Oh God, that can't turn like it used to.
Nope.
It's like
They
a
could turn
6x6 that they make from Hennessy Performance. And
There you go.
You can actually buy a Dodge Ram with over 1,000 horsepower with 6 wheels.
But why? Oh, right. Because we can.
Because we fucking can.
I'm not
Ew,
sure what the...
mustard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Ugh.
color.
Oh.
Anyway, what's everyone up to? I just got done with my stream, and Jason Bourne turned out to be a cowardly bitch. So that's it for that. So how's everyone else doing?
Yeah, well, kind of called it that if there was a flurf that actually was supposed to show up, they'd bitch out.
Dash? Oh.
How the hell do you drive?
You don't.
Oh,
Very-
this is a
very
European
carefully.
make. Okay. So it's just made on the wrong side, that's all.
It
There you
could
go.
be a Japanese market.
Oh, hello, Mad Max.
Where's the stand for
Is
the
that-
guitarist?
Hold on. Isn't that Alan's new power chair?
New World Order. Oh. Yes. There you go. That's what you need for a shifter.
Leave it. Let me guess. It was someone in Florida.
Probably.
It's always someone in
Florida or
Florida. What the
Texas?
fuck you talking about?
Texas.
Yeah, when you got junk parts floating around.
No,
Like
no,
a lot of
no.
shock.
Yes, because you don't have enough shock absorption, so you need to put shock absorption on your shock absorption.
No, what that card right there says is, I drink too much Faygo.
The fuck is Faygo?
Faygo is the ultimate
you
drink
sweet,
of the juggalos, man.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
You never had Faygo?
No.
Poor
Dude,
child.
You
the
don't know.
juggalos, man. You gotta be part of the juggalo family to drink Faygo.
This is funny.
Yes. But why is it on shitty car design? That's hilarious.
The hell?
Partly Ram.
Oh, yeah, and it's got a second set of stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do not even get started on
I fart.
tail light replacements.
Hey, I got news for that guy. It's not the only one.
Oh.
That's
Modern,
kind of nifty.
a modern
Yeah.
cab with a vintage front
and rear.
bed.
Yeah, with a front end and a
that-
bed, yeah.
That's not
I
a
admire
good
their
mix.
dedication.
That's not a good mix.
At least it blends. It does blend pretty well.
On the
Yeah.
sides,
Yeah,
but it's the top that just doesn't sit right.
it's the retconned precursor to the El Camino.
There you go.
Yeah, but the El Camino and to be fair, the El Camino and the Bel Air were produced by two different
Oh,
makers.
so you just put the entire Bible on your car, of course.
And it's Florida.
And the license plate even says to Jesus. Yeah, that's where you're gonna go.
No. If you want the good juice, you got to go to Jesus.
You know, people often ask me what part of Florida am I from, and they say, "Okay, are you part of Florida? Well, the one with the cocaine, the one with the bath salts, the one with the fancy hats. Where are you from?" I go, "I'm from the lifted pickup truck section of Florida." I go, "Oh, Tampa."
A VW quad cab.
Okay, then.
I can't knock that because it's probably my older brother's vehicle.
That's all you get as a taste.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
I don't want to get Jared's channel struck with a copyright.
The ultimate Hummer. That's a stretched Hummer.
No. The ultimate Hummer with... Oh, sorry, wrong website.
Yeah, I hear there's better with the fruit roll-up edition.
There's lowered, and then there's... Oh, no.
Yeah, and it's scraping.
God.
Because he's got the hydraulics on it.
Oh, and he caused an accident. That's even worse.
Yeah.
There you go.
He caused an accident with the scraper. Oh,
Fuck.
velocipede wheels.
There's not even any treads on them.
The fuck?
The velocipede, of course.
Everything about this.
Your center of gravity's got to be all fucked up with something like this.
Oh yeah, totally. I also like how the rear end doesn't have a drive shaft, so it can't move under its own power.
Yeah, I see that.
He's around a step ladder.
What the heck?
You get in through a step ladder, and once you turn on the engine, assuming it even has one, you don't go anywhere because it can't move because there's nothing connecting it to the wheels.
What the? A beauty.
Oh,
It's the Mike Wazowski car.
Yep. It's got a roll cage. It's got a roll cage in it too.
Needs it because look
no
at
radiator
the
in the
rear
front.
tire. Look at the rear tire.
Yeah, it's not even. It's barely touching the ground.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh. No.
Now I know somebody who has a truck like that here in my location. So yeah.
Are we? Is this what this stream has turned into? Just looking at guys doing really shitty things to their cars,
like this?
Apparently.
I mean, I could share a quartering tweet.
Go for it.
Oh God.
Let me stop. I'll let you.
I sent it to Jared so he could preview it, but yeah, I'm not gonna let him.
Oh, fuck you.
I've still got a couple more.
You know what, though? I have a feeling that that's the picture he took of Sydney.
Probably.
Which, not bad.
Works out.
So his post is Sarah Silverman is an unfunny, tragic waste of a great wreck who famously melted down over construction marks. She was 100% certain were swastikas.
What kind of
psychotic
low standards do you have to think?
I still listen to I'm fucking Matt Damon every so often. So she wasn't that bad.
Speaking of things that are bad and hot, dumpster fire.
Let's get this one started, shall we?
Oh boy, it is that time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had your fun, Reds. Now it's time for the torture.
The what?
Oh boy.
You did want to talk taxes, right?
Oh yeah. We said that we were going to give a warning to people before we did, so I'll go ahead and give everyone a warning. So, listen. If you are a female, I'm going to have to ask you to turn off your internet, turn off the computer, and run far away from it, because the topic we're about to get into is so hot and sexy. Your clam is going to turn into like Niagara Falls. I mean, it's just going to be oozing wetness because of just how hot and sexy this subject is. Because there's nothing I like doing more on a Friday night than talking about fucking taxes. And I know everyone feels the same. So remember, we're talking complete wetness. It'll be like, the fucking slipperiest of slipperies. So fair warning, you may want to turn off the and by the way, if you decide to watch this stream all the way through, there is a very high probability that at the end of it, you will be pregnant.
Yeah, because the D was surprisingly large.
Excellent, Jay Brown. This is why you're here. Yeah. You're here to break the monotony when we're talking about fucking taxes, because Jesus Christ.
This is something that I'm not getting out again.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone except Reds and you wished. Mute, motherfuckers.
I gotta take a shit.
Sounds like a personal problem to me, Reds.
Although, have to admit, it wouldn't be the first time you've done it.
Yeah, so we're talking about Texas and W-2s. And have you ever tried the 1099. Okay, and 1090. Yeah, that's how it would be. All right. So what exactly are we talking here, and why? Someone break the ice, please.
Okay. So we go back to the Internal Revenue Service, and we go back to its history. Do you know, Rez? Do you know when the first time the United States ever collected an income tax was?
I don't care when.
It would have been 1862, July Act.
Neato burrito. That's around Civil War time.
Okay. You know what it was used for?
I do not care. But no, what was it used for?
It was used to pay for the Civil War for the Union side.
Okay. And in that case, money well spent.
Okay. Do you know what the initial tax rate was for households over $800?
I do not care. What was it?
3%.
Neato burrito.
Okay. What was it in 1862 for households over $600?
I do not care. But what was it?
It was 3%. Okay.
Like
now
I
the
said,
initial rate. No, the initial rate exempted most wage earners. Why? Because they earned less than $800 a year at the time. Okay. These are the things that you fail to understand, that you failed to look into, you failed to study up on. Okay.
Maybe the reason why I didn't look into it was because it was irrelevant to our original conversation.
All right. Do you know what amendment made possible the collection of income tax?
The TurboTax Amendment?
No.
Okay, then it's irrelevant to our previous conversation.
Constitutional amendment. No, these all things interlinked. Okay. It was the 16th Amendment, which was not ratified until 1913.
Cool.
Okay. Now, in 1942, a new tax act was passed by the United States for the Second World War. This act included a special wartime surcharge. The number of American citizens who paid income tax increased from about 4 million in 1939 to more than 42 million by 1945. Okay. All of these tax reforms that have occurred have progressively increased the taxes, the tax brackets, the tax rates. Okay, so that it is confusing to most people in the United States who don't have a college education, and forces them to use these tax services. Now, do you realize that the majority of people who use those tax services do not pay for those services? They pay zero.
What do you mean they don't pay for the services? You're talking about companies like TurboTax and HR Block.
Yes.
They don't pay
Yes.
for those services?
They do not pay for those services.
Interesting.
No, sir. Okay. Do you know who does pay for them? People who earn over $100,000 a year who choose to utilize their services. In fact, they're cheaper at those rates than a CPA would be.
Correction. Your figures there on who pays and what the threshold is wrong. Because
in the midst of doing all this research, I'm surprised you didn't hear that TurboTax Maker is also involved in an ongoing case with the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, which has sued Intuit for allegedly deceiving customers with bogus advertising pitching free tax filing that millions of consumers could not use. You want to know what the threshold was for their free service?
What was it?
It was like 85% of Americans couldn't use it.
Okay, what was the threshold that they used?
The poverty line.
The poverty line. So who is eligible?
What was the pay percentage? What were they paying out?
They were, so let's see, under the $141 million settlement allowance last year, 4.4 customers affected by Intuit's behavior across 50 states are eligible to receive payment ranging from, or 4.4 million, sorry, from $29 to $85, depending on how many years they use TurboTax. The agreement covers 2016, 17, and 18 tax years. Customers must have begun their tax returns through TurboTax Free Edition products, but later informed that it was not possible for them to use the product. And so basically they would advertise their products as free only to be duped. And this was after their TV and radio commercial ads. And Jared, since we're in the process of making women incredibly hot and bothered, with your permission, Jared, can I please explain the commercials that TurboTax was putting out there by actually mimicking the commercial itself?
Go for it.
Free, 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 free. Free, 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 free. Free, 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 free. Free, free for free, 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 free for free, 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 even more free, free, I guess, fucking free. Pay me $85.
You said $29 to $85, Reds. Okay, so
the
let's
point
say
was it wasn't free, dude. What I'm saying is that TurboTax, you're saying, is that people were not paying for this service, that TurboTax was doing this out of the kindness of their own heart. That is objectively bullshit.
People didn't read the fine print.
Oh, people didn't read the fine print. Hey, if you're 80% of Americans, you ain't going to get this shit. But I'm going to go ahead and make a commercial that says free 75 times over. That's why they're being sued by the FTC for false advertising. When someone is guilty of false advertising, what does that mean? What crime did they commit? Can you please explain to the viewers?
That would technically be fraud if
yeah, but in the case of advertising, if it's advertising that is false, what do we call that?
It's false advertising.
Yeah, false advertising. Okay, and what were they advertising exactly?
Again, go to the
They were
website.
advertising their free services. I'll answer that question for you because I knew I wasn't going to get an answer. And yet, because they were advertising a free service, and it turns out that free service was total bullshit, they're now currently being sued. And I'm supposed to believe that TurboTax, that most of Americans who were able to use it were able to use it for free because TurboTax is totally not in this business to make money.
Well, everybody's in the business to make money, even the IRS.
And they shouldn't be in business to make money, especially for this kind of shit.
The IRS shouldn't be in this business to make money either.
Unfortunately, you want those nice, sexy F-22 Raptors with the spinning rims? Oh, that money's got to come from somewhere, and we get it from taxes.
I've yet to see an F-22 with spinning rims. But
oh, you give me 5 minutes with an F-22, I'll put some fucking spinners on that bitch.
Yeah, I hope you do it at your own dime, though. But here's the deal, okay? You want to argue about all these tax services being in it for the money. They're a business. They have a right to earn a business. They have a right to earn wages for their employees, do they not?
Oh, they have a right, just like I have a right to say that their business shouldn't exist. Just like I believe that Apple's certified program shouldn't exist. Do I acknowledge that means that a bunch of people would be out of a job? Oh, absolutely. And guess what? I would kick them out of a job and I would not lose any sleep over it because that business shouldn't exist. The IRS has all the tools necessary to do this shit on their own. And the only reason they are not allowed to do their shit on their own is because of the lobbying efforts from Intuit. Did you know that the IRS on their website had a very clearly displayed button that you could push to file your taxes for free, and it was literally removed because Intuit got involved and was like, whoa, that's going to fuck with our business. You can't do that. And a few phone calls to some really, really close friends later, the IRS had to pull it. And now the only thing you get is a redirect link to Intuit's bullshit.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. It's almost like these are evil businesses, and the fact that we don't
look
need
at that.
them.
Look at what I'm sharing. Look at what I'm sharing. I'm sharing directly from the IRS website. File for free.
Do it.
Oops.
Now, if you notice, that file for free is only for federal.
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay. And each state has its own. Each state has its own ability to file for free. Okay.
Again, if you make a low income.
And
Okay.
also,
all right. So your bitch is not with the business. Then it's with the state itself.
No.
My point is this, dude, is that I'm not denying that there are ways to do your taxes for free, whether it's through the federal government, whether it's through the state government, whether it's through local government, whether it's from some smart teenager down the street. I don't deny that there are free ways of doing it. What I'm saying is that the free ways of doing it should be the only ways to do it, because this business shouldn't exist. You're saying that TurboTax is offering a service. Well, guess what? That service could literally be made obsolete, unneeded, if they would just get the fuck out of the IRS's way and allow them to do their shit on their own, because they have the capability. In fact, the only reason that Intuit is spending all this money on lobbying is to make sure that doesn't happen. Why else would Intuit spend so much money on lobbying? Why would H&R Block do the exact same thing?
I mean, why would green energy do the same thing?
I don't care about green energy right now. We're talking taxes. And again, there's some bullshit in every single sector, and we can get to everything. I believe that we should talk about, Shell or Exxon Mobil and them fucking everything up. Sure, we can get to that conversations later and how they're turning our oceans into 80% antifreeze. But the fact is that Intuit is one such evil company that we could quite literally do without. And by getting rid of them, less and less Americans would be getting screwed. And one of the arguments that I heard was that the only way to stop the U.S. taxpayer from getting screwed is to go to a private company that's publicly traded with a CEO that has a salary of $17 million. That makes zero sense.
Why? Are you anti-capitalist? I mean,
in this case, abso-fucking-lutely, because this should not be a capitalistic opportunity. You shouldn't literally invent the problem only to sell the solution, and the only way you're inventing the problem is by getting into the pockets of politicians that are allowing you to fuck with the IRS.
Ah, there's the hitch. The politician.
Yeah, and surprisingly, most of them are on the Republican side. Although there are some Democrats, and they're shitheads as well. But, tomato, tomato in that case.
All right. So, all right.
Lemonade is really delicious.
Paying somebody for their labor is right up a socialist alley.
Hey, but what if I enacted the labor?
They're producing a product with their labor. They should own it. Yes or no?
Let's follow that example to its logical conclusion. I lobby someone that once a year they scrape all the shingles off your roof. But I own a roofing company, and I pay my employees a wage to put shingles back on your roof. Well, you would be obviously saying, well, I wouldn't have to pay your company to pay your employees to put shingles back on my roof if this motherfucker didn't fucking scrape the shingles off in the first place. What they're doing is that they're literally inventing the problem. They are actively scraping shingles off of your roof, and you're like, well, they got to make money somehow. No, they actually don't, because they're inventing the problem, and they're doing it through lobbying efforts. If they literally invent the problem and sell you the solution, we shouldn't see them as heroes because a certain fraction of their customer base can get by with a free filing.
Okay. So what should we do then? What's the answer?
We should tell them to fuck off. That's what I've been saying.
All right. Then you have a personal responsibility to file your taxes yourself. Do you not?
A personal responsibility to file my taxes myself. No, the responsibility falls on the elected officials. Because guess what? Me filing my taxes myself is not going to stop TurboTax from fucking with the IRS. I could stick it to TurboTax in that way, and I do. That's not going to stop their lobbying efforts. That's not going to stop them from fucking with the IRS to the point where sometime in the future I may not have a choice. Because they even said themselves, there's a leaked phone call that I'll have to find, and I'll post it on Twitter when I do find it, but there's like this leaked phone call, this leaked document or meeting or whatever the fuck it was, where they said that our goal would be to make them or their businesses the only option. They're basically trying to strong arm people for not even having a choice. And then if you have to use their services in order to file your taxes, that is a fucking gold mine for them. That is free money in their pocket. They are literally going to, they're going to monopolize federal services that the government could literally do themselves, probably for cheaper, faster, better, if only Intuit and other such companies would just fuck off and get out of the way. Like I said, the CEO didn't make $17 million for nothing. That's not including bonuses.
Okay. All right. So what I'm hearing is that you don't want to take personal responsibility for your taxes. But
I've been voting in Democrats for a very long time, so I'm taking responsibility in that way.
Yeah, voting in those who robbed the Social Security coffers back in the 80s, really helped.
Yeah, because guess what? And by the way, just to be clear, return free filing is the thing that I'm going to. You want to know who also supported return free filing? Ronald fucking Reagan.
Yeah.
And guess what? He was a Jared. Was he a Democrat or Republican? I forget.
I'll help you out there. Red with your brain fart. It was Republican.
Yeah, you really think that was a brain fart?
He made it sound like such, so I had to point it out.
Neato burrito. Sarcasm is lost here. So when it comes to like Ronald Reagan, I'm just supporting the Democrats that are supporting an idea that Ronald Reagan also supported. Turns out there's people on both sides of the aisle that see the benefit of return-free filing and see the benefit of telling these private companies to go fuck themselves. So vote those people into office. If there was a Democrat on my ticket that was saying, now this wouldn't be the only issue, so we would have to balance. But let's say this is the only platform that they're running on, and I had to vote Democrat, Republican. However, the one thing on their agenda is telling Intuit to go fuck themselves. I would vote for the candidate that's going to tell Intuit to go fuck themselves. That was the only thing they're going to do, as long as they didn't fuck with anything else. If they did bring anything else to the table, then I would have to weigh the pros and cons. But the way that I take responsibility for this as an American citizen is through my vote. Now, again, I do my own taxes. I've been doing my own taxes for a very, very long time. Now, I know that on my live streams, I said, I have someone else do that. That's just me being, a jokey little shit, because let's face it, I'm kind of like that. So when I do my own taxes, I don't do it to stick it to the man, because the man is Intuit in this case, but I do it just because I know how to. But when it comes to everyone else, like, let's say if your taxes are a little bit more complicated than mine, which I have one job, basically two sources of income, which is the job and a little extra on the side from YouTube. That's basically it. My shit is pretty simple, especially with ADP helping me out, which is an awesome resource, and which is paid for by the employer. The employer has all this information. They send it out and it can be collected and analyzed for you. It's amazing, the tools that we have. And guess what? These are the same tools that are available to the IRS. So I do my part, sir. I do my part by my vote. I do my part with my actions. I've been doing all of it. But again, that hasn't stopped the lobbying efforts. That hasn't stopped them being in the pockets of politicians that have more power than I could ever hope to in this space. I'm just one dude. So the best thing that I can do right now is to not just work with my actions, but also work here to educate people that Intuit is actively, proudly, with a huge smile on their face and with no lube, good sir, fucking you in the ass, and you're loving it. Don't let them fuck you in the ass, please.
I don't use Intuit. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever owned your own business? Have you ever owned your own business? Okay. All right.
Unless you count my YouTube channel as a business, which.
Well, let me ask you this then. Okay. So you've never had to employ somebody else, right?
No.
You've never employed anybody else to help you with your YouTube channel or anything like that, right?
I mean, there was that one time where I threatened Jared with his nudes, but other than that, not really.
Okay. All right. So understand something. Okay. I've run my own business.
Neato.
Okay? I've had my own business. I've had my own employees. I've had 4 at one time.
Okay.
Do you realize that I'm taxed for every employee hour that I pay that employee on top of them paying taxes in on their paychecks? Are you aware of this, sir?
I've never owned a business, so no.
Okay. All right. So I'm taxed on what I pay you. Okay. So that dollar you get is already taxed.
Okay. And?
So then you have to pay taxes on that tax that I've already paid.
I'm not talking about, again, you're going into a different conversation here.
Wait a second. Okay.
Wait, are you getting into the payroll tax?
I'm getting into the payroll tax. I'm also getting into the employee tax.
But again, the conversation is not around how much you're taxed. It's how you file and how the shit is tracked.
Okay, so let me ask you the question then. How do we cut Intuit out? Okay, here it is. We tell the federal government, hey, look, we're going to stop at the employer level. What they pay you for taxing that dollar that employee made and not having the employee pay it, that's the way you cut those guys out.
No, the way you cut them out is that you can still keep revenue going, but you let the IRS themselves do what Intuit is doing. Intuit is not doing something that only Intuit can do. You understand this, right?
Yes.
Then if Intuit can do it, the IRS can do it. And the IRS, being part of the federal government, can do it for no more money than your normal taxes that you would pay anyway. Literally, the IRS has enough people and the resources to do this shit. The only reason they have more overhead is because they also have to intermingle with all these other companies that fuck shit up on purpose. So cut them out, you cut the overhead. You simplify the process where they do all the math, and then they just send you a piece of paper afterward asking you one question. Does this look correct? If it does, don't do anything. If it doesn't, tell us where you think it's wrong, and we can talk about it. And also, and this would be a great thing to do, this would be a great thing to do as well. Maybe, just maybe, and I know Republicans hate this fucking shit, but I'm going to suggest it anyway. Maybe give the IRS a little bit more money so that they can hire people, so that when you call them, there's actually a person able to answer the fucking phone. That would be a nice touch, wouldn't it? How is that great for the job market? We would be making jobs in that case. Maybe the people that used to work at TurboTax, when we tell the company to eat shit, can go work for the IRS. and they can do so answering phones, doing the same shit that Intuit was doing, but on the government's dime, instead of giving a random CEO motherfucker $14 million.
Okay, hold on a second. You made the statement that the IRS has enough employees to do everybody's taxes in the U.S., right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Easily. They already do it.
How many employees does the IRS have?
I don't know, but it's enough to do it because they literally do it all the time. The only reason they're able to tell you if you fucked up on your taxes is because they already have the numbers.
After how many years?
What do you mean after how many years? They do it every year. April is a shitty month for a reason, good sir.
I know April is a a shitty month, sir.
Yes,
okay.
Then you should know that every April, they come to you.
Okay, all right.
They have these numbers.
Reds, let me get to my second part of this, please. How many people are in the how many people are in the U.S. right now?
What was the last number? 330 million, I think.
Yeah, 332.8 million.
Okay, well, I was close, so kudos.
As of November 25th, November 25th of last year, there were 93,654 employees of the IRS.
Okay, and?
Okay. So how the fuck are 93,000 people, 94,000 people essentially rounded up, responsible and know what the taxes are on 332 million?
Did you complete the question?
Yeah. How are they supposed to know the numbers on each individual person? These get flagged in computers.
Then you just answer your own questions because we have modern day technology that can streamline the process. This is the same modern day technology that Intuit is using currently. It's just that instead of making Intuit use it, we allow the IRS to use it. The only reason the IRS isn't allowed to use so-called proprietary software or even developing their own is because Intuit is like, you can't do this.
The IRS does not have the outside resources to be able to do it.
Yeah, you want to know how we fix that? Let's say for example that's true. Let's just accept that on face value. Then we do what I said. Give them more money. Give them more money to make up a process that doesn't suck donkey dick. Give them enough money to hire enough people to at least answer the goddamn phone every once in a while. Give them money to make Intuit irrelevant and watch as Intuit becomes, well, irrelevant, unneeded, unnecessary, a complete and total fucking waste of time. And we can actually save money by doing that. How? I'll tell you one thing, 14 million of our dollars wouldn't be going to a single person.
Again, it goes back to the business model of the corporation.
Yeah, the business model of the corporation.
Okay, well, don't use it then. Okay.
Believe me, I don't. And that's the thing. It shouldn't be used because it is an unnecessary business. It's just like the Apple tax that people pay whenever they purchase a Apple product. The reason why you can't buy a simple USB-C cable is because Apple has their own proprietary bullshit that you pay a premium on. And the only reason they're not switching to USB-C is because it's a fucking cash cow for them. They literally invented the problem, making a proprietary port, selling the solution, the proprietary cable. It gets a 30% bump on anyone who wants to sell such a cable because it has to be approved through Apple directly. And Apple rakes in that cash and becomes a $1 trillion company. All because they invented the problem and they decided to sell the solution. It's no different with Intuit. They're inventing the problem, although in this case, instead of a fucking charge port, it's through lobbying our elected representatives. And instead of a cable, it's literally, false advertising that the FTC sued them after they sung a song about free multiple fucking times.
Okay, potato.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
the deal.
Potato,
Here's the deal.
the same way that Apple is a bullshit
There is a simple resolution to all your problem. Okay,
I'm listening.
Eliminate the IRS completely. Go to a usage tax, a federal sales tax, and let the GAO collect the money directly, or let the Revenue Service collect the money directly from that.
You do realize that return-free filing would be essentially that service. This is why Ronald Reagan.
It would not, because a usage tax is a sales tax. It is nothing more.
You do realize that the reason why return-free filing was such a popular idea was because it brought forth the concept of simplifying the entire process. Another benefit of simplifying the entire process is that you can also simplify the tax code. By simplifying the tax code, some bullshit tax could literally be eliminated because you are forced to literally go over everything. This is a restructuring that you're talking about here. So some ideas that Republicans really like, oh, we can cut this tax, cut that tax, can also be part of the negotiations once Intuit is dissolved. Because keep in mind that whatever we decide to do with our taxes, Intuit has to incorporate into their services, which means they're actually part of the conversation. So taxes that they would like, which wouldn't benefit you, it only benefits the corporations and the big head honchos with these golden fucking parachutes. These are the motherfuckers that are literally having a say into how your taxes are structured. So getting rid of them would simplify everything, probably save you a little bit of money, and nothing gets a Republican harder in the morning than the concept of having less to deal with when it comes to taxes. This is literally something that the right and the left should be able to agree on, that these are unneeded corporations, they are bottom feeders and parasites of the highest fucking order, and they should quite frankly not exist.
But the fact that the Democrats in the 80s and 90s complicated the tax codes created these corporations.
Well, good. We can tell people back. We can tell people back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s to go fuck themselves. We learned our lesson, and we're going to do it better. So this is why we need to support politicians, whether they're on the left or the right, that support return-free filing. This is a Ronald Reagan idea. And so if we support that, and we also tell them, hey, listen, I need you without any hesitation that when you get approached by a lobbyist for these, tax companies, that you tell them to go fuck themselves explicitly and without hesitation. You fucking mean it when you say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay. But the fact remains that the tax code is fucked.
Because of both parties, not just one.
Exactly.
Yep.
I agree with you, Jared.
Then why do you keep trying to pin it on the Democrats every single fucking time you bring it up?
Because the problems with all of this arose in the 1980s when the Democrats had control of both houses throughout Reagan.
And when the Republicans had the same power, they made it worse. Each party, when they have had that sort of influence and power, have not fixed it. They have added icing to the cake.
And here's the thing. There hasn't been one Republican, at least one notable Republican, that has made a genuine push for return-free filing. And like I said, this can be a left-leaning idea or a right-leaning idea. It actually doesn't matter because it benefits both parties. But yet when we look at the House, the Senate, even the fucking White House, we're not seeing anyone actually push this. Meanwhile, these golden parachute wearing motherfuckers are busy trying to figure out what private jet they're going to buy next year. Jared, the CEO for Intuit, had a really difficult decision to make. So he had to sell his Gulfstream 6 private jet because it didn't have a remote for its DVD hot tub surround sound system. So he decided to buy the private jet that only had Netflix and Hulu. because it actually has a remote for its DVD hot tub surround sound system. And it actually has an extra benefit where the seat massages you and it's heated. Ooh, heated.
I need citations for that, Reds.
This is what I'm saying, dude, is that these are unnecessary companies. They have always been unnecessary companies. They want people to believe they're necessary because of the problems with the IRS, not revealing the fact that part of the problem is that they're actively making it worse to make their product more appealing. Again, the way that you sell a product, and you're a business owner that I assumed either sold products or services, you know the value of advertising. And you know that the way that you advertise is that you take the Billy Mays approach. The Billy Mays is if you don't use my shit, it can cost you thousands. Jared, are you tired of the blood stains in your underwear every time you eat Chipotle? Are they dingy, dirty, dusty, and shitty? Well, don't worry about that shit. Try new Chipotle Away. Buying new underwear can cost you thousands. But with Chipotle Away, you can keep your underwear looking fresh for longer. You basically make it appear like by not using the product, you are fucking yourself. Like I said, you don't use my product, you're definitely going to fuck yourself. And in which cases, if you file taxes wrong, the IRS is going to be knocking on your door with fucking handcuffs. And they ain't the fuzzy bitches either. So you want to avoid the fuzzy bitches? Going into federal prison can cost you thousands. So just use Intuit. And don't worry about the IRS breaking down your door with a battering ram.
Again, you could use a CPA, solve the problem, but the problem is
just pay for a CPA. Just pay for a CPA. I guess I should run a business. Hey, Jared, how many people do you think would be willing to buy my new drink, Red's Creamy Goo?
Oh, knowing the number of lurkers that are out there, you would be surprised at the market you could cultivate.
I mean, listen, all I gotta say is it's best served at just above room temperature.
Oh, don't get me started, Reds.
Dude, you want this conversation, and this is like I said, this is the conversation we're gonna have. We're talking about taxes. It's boring as fuck, dude. I gotta entertain it somehow.
Well, I mean, it's taxes. Yes, it's boring as fuck. Okay, but here's the deal. At what point does the IRS actually serve a purpose?
The IRS serves whatever purpose we give it. So, let's say this. Right now, the way that it's currently structured, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, is supposed to manage the internal revenue, i.e. taxes. And so basically, House, Senate, White House, whoever the fuck else are being like, okay, look, we got shit to do, and this shit costs money. We need money. So let's go ahead and argue for fucking ever about what we should pay for and what we shouldn't pay for. And then let's look at the price tag of these things that we want and don't want. So do we want an F-22 with spinner rims, or do we want an F-22 with hubcaps? We have to figure these things out. And obviously I'm overly simplifying the process, but bear with me here. After they have some dollar amount, they then say, okay, Internal Revenue Service, we have made out how much everyone's taxes should be so that it equals this arbitrary amount. Do the thing where you collect the forms and the monies and the shit like that. And if people, are deserved a tax refund, you take care of that too. And you send out the checks. You do that thing. That whole process requires a dedicated institution, because that is a lot of shit to have to go through. So the Internal Revenue Service does that thing and then, of course, reports back to the federal government. So that is the ultimate purpose of the IRS, but that doesn't have to be their only purpose. Their purpose is literally whatever we tell them to do. If we tell them that they're not allowed to intrude on the businesses of Intuit, they are forced to listen. We tell the IRS what to do, and the IRS just says, okay, we do the thing then. And then the IRS gets shit canned for it when it's actually our elected officials that told them to do the thing in the first place. We're getting wrong at the wrong entity here. And so if we have the IRS restructured to take place of whatever the fuck Intuit is doing, and also streamline the process in many ways that I'm sure Democrats and Republicans would both think is a good idea, then we would literally be allowing ourselves to make the IRS better for Americans in general, while also fucking over these companies, which would also be better for Americans in general.
Okay. So we tell the IRS what to do, right?
Absolutely. Well, our elected officials do, but technically we do, but yeah.
Okay. Our elected officials tell them to go do a thing, and they do their thing, and they come back with a numbers crunch, right?
Let the numbers crunch, correct.
Why the fuck are we operating at a goddamn deficit?
The reason why we're operating at a goddamn deficit is because our elected officials, the ones that are actually supposed to, do the officialing part of the deal, that function of the government, are incompetent as fuck. Again, the IRS is a calculator. They punch in numbers and they click equal. The IRS is literally just doing the number crunching, the data collection, the math. They're not responsible if the math ends up fucking the United States of America. That is the fault entirely on the elected officials who can't make policies worth a shit. Our elected officials have the responsibility to make policies that are not only good for the country, but also, I would say, by extension, good for the individual American. And they're failing at that job because they have ulterior motives. And you want to know who's at the top of that, who's at the top of the pay? You want to know who Republicans care for the most? It's not their voter base. It's not the farmer who's tilling the fields in Texas and Oklahoma. Otherwise, Republicans would have passed right to repair bills where John Deere wouldn't be fucking the everyday farmer every time their tractor breaks, because they have to plug in their shitty computer into their fucking tractors and give their tractors permission to use a wheel speed sensor that they could have literally replaced themselves. Republicans aren't passing right to repair legislation. No, because that's not who they're actually caring for. They're caring about the people who are at the top, the ones with the million fucking dollars, a year salary, with the private jets and the new supercars every other weekend. Those are the people that they're going for. And if it means fucking over the average American to make sure that those people are experiencing the most supreme luxury, then they're going to do it. Unfortunately, they're very short-sighted, because they don't understand that you can only do that so many times before you fuck yourself to the point of no return. Now we're passing right to repair legislation thanks to the fucking Democrats. And now John Deere is now being forced to give farmers the tools and equipment they need to fix their own shit. But where are the Republicans on that? They weren't on that issue. But by the same token, Ronald Reagan also had return-free filing, which would also fuck over the people with the golden parachutes that, quite frankly, will do just fine once they're at a job. Believe me, if someone drops $17 million into my lap, I wouldn't be talking to you motherfuckers right now. I'd be in Miami with my new friends. But guess what? We're here right now. We're here right now, and we're dealing with this shitty system, and there's only one thing we should be doing about it right now, and this is from both parties. They need to understand who the fuck they're working for. They're not working for the people at the top. They're not working for these big corporations. I'm sorry, corporations are not people. I can't believe we fucking believe that shit. And we need to start holding these motherfuckers accountable in a way that they can't come back from. Like, for example, when Drumpf, the CEO of Wells Fargo, decided to fuck over Americans with these multiple fake accounts scam that was going on, and Elizabeth Warren was tearing him a new asshole, and other Republicans were tearing him a new asshole. If I broke into a 7-Eleven ATM at 2:30 in the morning and stole $200, I would be in fucking jail. This motherfucker can go ahead and steal literally millions and millions and millions of people, steal from millions and millions of people, and he just gets a stern talking to Give me a fucking break. The system is rigged to favor the rich and fuck the poor. We are struggling to hang on to whatever bottom rung of the ladder that we've been presented with, and we're supposed to be happy about this. We're supposed to be okay with the fact that our politicians are going out of their way to fuck us and to support the higher ups, which includes the higher ups at fucking TurboTax. And they're doing so by making the tax code complicated so that their services become necessary for the average American. And then what ends up happening is that they fuck over the IRS, which in turn fucks you out of even more money. This is, again, not a left wing, a right wing issue. This is an American issue. And we got to stop fucking around and tell these people to eat shit. Otherwise, it's going to get so bad that people are going to have to spend a colossal amount of money just to pay the taxes that they are required to pay. Wow,
Okay.
that was a big rant over.
Okay, so basically, we eliminate the tax code. We go to a simplistic code, which is what you're basically going for. Okay.
That's one
Well,
piece
the
to
most
the puzzle.
the most simplistic code out there is a usage tax, a sales tax. Okay.
Well, I don't care what, again, I don't care what the tax code is. Not at least for this conversation. Whatever the tax code is, the IRS is in a position to handle it. So if Congress or whoever makes a tax code that's either more complicated or simplified or whatever, all we have to do is pour our resources into the IRS so that they are equipped to handle whatever tax code we give them. So Republicans are out there saying, we want a simplified tax code. Great, excellent. Let's go ahead and put that into practice. That means that the IRS wouldn't need as many resources to facilitate that tax code. They wouldn't need all the extra manpower, which means that their cost of operation goes down. Intuit gets fucked out of business. We again save money on that bullshit since we're not having this money-hungry business just soaking up resources for no fucking reason. Literally everybody wins. Democrats are happy. Republicans are happy. I'm happy because I don't really give a shit about any of them. And everyone can go home and sing Kumbaya. That sounds like a great idea. Why aren't we doing that? I'll tell you why. It's because the people that are elected into power have hands in their pockets, and they're putting in some sweet, juicy Skittles. By Skittles, I mean money. They're putting in money. They're putting in a ton of fucking money.
Wait a second, Jared.
Before you say money going into pockets. Speaking of money going into pockets, let's not let these go off the screen too far, because we did get a $50 super chat from Siggy. You fucking madman.
Siggy.
Here's some beer money adjusted for inflation. Cheers. Stay pagan. Hail Sagan. Also, hi Reds. And Mark Beiser renewing his channel membership. Vote the incumbent out every election cycle. That could help this.
That could help things. That could help things. Here's the thing: if we're gonna branch off of taxes real quick, I think we should shorten the term. So instead of 4 years, make that shit 2, and voting should be like a more often occurrence. At some point, they just get complicit in their office, and I'm like, oh no, motherfucker, you gotta work. You don't have as much time as you think you do.
Well, and like Q Continuum said, better idea: term limits. I've been calling that shit for a year. But as you were about to say, you wished, go right ahead.
Okay. All right. So now that you've interrupted me on my point, I got to rethink it. Now, if you want to simplify the tax code, let's do that. Okay. Let's eliminate the need for these outside corporations. Hey, I'm all for that. Okay. But until we can come up with a simplified tax code that is a fair share tax, your best bet is a sales tax. Okay.
Again, I don't care if the tax code is complicated or simple. Either way, the IRS is going to be the entity that we should use to handle it.
Okay. All right. How many employees did the IRS hire last year?
No idea.
5,000.
Neato.
5? I thought it was 85.
It was closer to 5. Okay. Do you know what the agents were hired for?
Hang on 1 second. IRS hired 30,000 employees. IRS plans to bring on 10,000 new employees in the current fiscal year, most of whom will focus on taxpayer services. In fiscal year 2024, the agency will double that to nearly 20,000 hires. So about 20,000 over the next year or so.
Why are they training them in raid tactics?
Why are we training who in raid tactics?
Those new hires. Why are we training them in raid tactics?
I don't know what you mean by raid. By raid, do you mean like home invasion?
Home invasion.
I don't know. You tell me.
Because they're not going to be used for the purpose of collecting taxes, except to go arrest people who owe taxes.
Well, that sounds like there's no better way to get your taxes than by at the end of a fucking gun. Which, by the way, even though you don't know it, the gun's always pointed at you, even if it's not physical. That piece of paper that says that you owe taxes, take that as a gun pointed at your face.
I always do, but since I sold my business, I don't owe taxes.
Well, good for you then. The point is still the same, is that I agree actually that we should pay taxes to the federal government. I disagree on how they use that money currently, but I think that if it's for the purposes of, like, let's say, fixing our shitty roads, which means our shitty infrastructure, making sure that Flint, Michigan actually doesn't have shitty water to drink, and making sure that our oceans don't turn into 80% antifreeze, I think that's money well spent. We actually get a lot of value for that money. In treating this like a business, it's okay. If I own a Banana Republic, and I'm selling clothes out there, and let's say I have a customer base that routinely comes in and buys clothes, but then they go somewhere else. I, as a business owner, will want to ask, well, what are we doing wrong? Is the shirts that I'm selling you not of high quality? Is it shrinking in the wash, even though you're washing it on cold? What exactly is going on? What service or what quality am I not providing? We need to have the IRS and basically all the United States have that mindset where it's all about pleasing the customer, i.e. us. Unfortunately, that's not how the system is right now. It's not about pleasing us. Fuck us is what they say. They have, complexes that they have to support. They have shareholders, essentially, that they have to support. They have all these lobbyists that they have to make happy and shit like that. It's not structured to please the customer. So we, as the customer, should be demanding that if I pay you in taxes, I should be getting something for that money, which means I want roads. That if I drive on it, my suspension doesn't go through the hood of my car. That would be a start. I would want water that's safe to drink. Like, I don't know, the exact opposite of Flint, Michigan, if you don't mind. I would like electrical infrastructure that doesn't catastrophically fail, even in mild wind. I prefer stuff that is, in your case, a little bit gopher-proofed. We should be able to ask for a reasonable return on our investment within the country. Unfortunately, we're not getting a reasonable return for our investment because it's being siphoned by all these bad actors. Getting the bad actors out of there, which also includes Intuit, because Intuit is a bad actor, would benefit the American population. It would benefit America. And the one thing that Republicans love to say over and over again is how much they love this country, and this country's the best thing since sliced bread and everything else like that. Well, let's do something to make it even better than it already is. Let's invest in our infrastructure. Let's invest in stuff that actually helps the common American, and let's tell the golden parachute wearing motherfuckers to fucking use that golden parachute for once in their goddamn lives and fuck right off. If that means simplifying the tax code, or better yet, making us pay a little bit more in taxes even, I would actually be willing to pay a little bit more of taxes if I knew that that money was going to be invested in a way that would benefit me immensely. Like, for example, wear and tear on my car. Smooth roads do wonders for the lifespan of your vehicle. Or how do I say, lighting that isn't completely burnt out on city streets. Because I'll tell you one thing, paying just a tiny bit more in taxes is totally worth not having a fucking accident. Let me tell you something. Hey, Jared, you know this. Thoughts by Jay Brown, you know this. If those roads were fucking illuminated, maybe I wouldn't have to have slammed into the fucking pigs that cost me my fucking car. Maybe if they used taxes to illuminate the fucking road I was on, I could have saved my car. That would have been fucking worth it, honestly. If we get something for our money that's actually, you know, worth it, we would actually be saving more in the long run. Like for me, not having to buy another fucking car because I ramped 3 pigs that were sitting in the middle of the road.
Oh, Reds. Are you racist against pigs? I mean, come on now. I've got 80 pounds of car. I've got 80 pounds. I've got 80 pounds of freaking ham and sausage in my freezer right now from the 15 pigs I shot 2 weeks ago. Neither here nor there.
It's okay. It's okay. You want to know something cool on the police report? It says I hit 4 pigs, but on my dash cam, I actually shows me hitting only 3 pigs. And so what happened there? The reason why there's a number discrepancy is because one of them got split in half and was counted as a separate pig.
Sorry, you know, I mean, and I get that. Okay, but that'll be a gun argument for another time. The thing is that we complicated all of this. We've complicated the whole situation where the common person, the person who barely has a high school education or just above a high school education, cannot understand the tax code without some help. They're going to have to pay somebody outside to help them prepare their taxes.
Yeah, the good thing is that there is someone outside that's going to help them with their taxes, and it's going to be the IRS themselves because they're going to do all the work for them. If the IRS is given the authority to do that, they'll do it.
I have the manpower to do it. The IRS does not have the manpower to do it.
That's why I said we give them more money so that they have the manpower to do it. I literally said that. I said I would be willing to pay more in taxes if we get an actual return on investment. That could be one of the investments that we get a return on.
Okay, I'm not willing to pay that tax. I'm not willing to do that. I'm
well,
not
then
willing.
You're just saying it's okay to fuck the everyday American with into it.
I'm not willing to give any more of my money that I earn to a government bureaucracy that already taxes the money I'm paid before I even get it, and then demands a tax out of me.
Did I say that you have to like it?
Does it mean I have to take it up the ass?
Well, you're already taking it up the ass with and do it. And they're actually shoving it a little bit further in. So if the goal of this conversation is to get fucked the least, I can tell you how we get fucked the least. And that's also a very good way of looking at life, I think. What can I do to get fucked in the ass the least? How can I make sure I don't become a pleasure baby to the U.S. government as much? And I'll tell you how we do that. We start demanding an actual return for our investment. We make sure that our money is going to good causes. And guess what? While doing all of that searching of what actually counts as good causes, what would actually be beneficial to the average American, we're going to find a lot of shit that we've been spending money on that we wouldn't have to spend money on. So, for example, I'll give you one example. AOC, and I know how Republicans feel about her, but she found that a military contractor, a contractor that we were paying with our tax dollars, was charging the government for a non vehicular clutch discs. I think it was some assertion like $1,000 per clutch disc or some shit like that. These clutch discs cost only $20 to produce. $20. So we're talking a many times fold on the price for this non-vehicular clutch disc, and the only reason that they were allowed to skirt underneath that shit was because because the U.S. government didn't have the resources to look through all of the paperwork and find the part where they're getting fucked in the ass. And so AOC found this and was like, oh shit, I'm going to bring attention to it, and asked the contractor directly, can you justify this price at all? And do you know how many bottles or how many vials of insulin I could buy for just the markup on these fucking clutch discs? And the guy had no answer. The guy had no answer. Now imagine that. That's just a non-vehicular clutch disc that was the size of a quarter or something small like that. And it was $1,000. So after they were called out, the company making that clutch disc actually gave a refund back to the government. By us spending money, if we were to pay just one guy, like let's say $15 an hour or $20 an hour, to look through the paperwork and he were to find that shit, and he found that we spent for 100 clutch discs over $1,000, that is $100,000. So Jared, if you can indulge me for a second, I brought up my calculator, and I would like for you to bring up your calculator as well. At $100,000 at $15 an hour, how many hours would you have to work to equal that amount?
$15 an hour for 100 grand.
Yeah, $15 an hour for 100 grand. How many hours would you have to work?
Oh, I love this number. It's almost the amount of overtime that I used to do. 6,666 hours.
Yeah.
0.666666666.
Yes, now you know why I picked that variable, because there's a lot of sixes in it. Hail Sagan and Satan. But yeah, over 6,500 hours that one person would be able to dedicate just finding that kind of shit. And I bet you it would have taken him a lot less time than that to figure out that, we're spending a lot of money for this clutch disc. And that's because we made the initial investment to find exactly where we're getting fucked. And as a result, we ended up saving a bunch of money and actually getting a refund by this military contractor. Imagine if we were to do that all the way across the board. How many cases of fuckery would we be able to discover? By making the initial investment, we would actually, and this is my firm opinion, we would actually save money on our taxes. You, sir, would actually be paying less in taxes if we did this process. You would be paying less in taxes, and I'm not joking when I say this. I bet you that if we did this process and we did it well, we could cut the amount of taxes that you pay by half. 50% of it, you wouldn't have to pay anymore. If we did this process correctly and we were honest while we were doing it, you would pay half as you do in taxes by simply investing it in the right place, investing in the United States itself and its citizens, and not the people, the 0.1 of the top 1% who don't fucking need a tax break in the first place. I paid more in taxes than fucking Trump, and that's not fair. That would be, here you go. That would be 9.25 months of nonstop work. How much fuckery would we be able to find on the books if that was my only job for 9 months? So that means Jared and I can have really hot, sweaty, kinky sex. He gets pregnant, and before he pops out a baby, I would be able to find enough bullshit in some of those paper trails to save us hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars off of the federal spending bill.
That would be great if you could do it.
Yeah, if we could do it. And the only reason we're not doing it is because we're not making the initial investment. Because everyone's saying, well, that's more money that we have to spend. Yes, we spend more now so we can spend less later. And when we spend less later, we then work to keep it that way so we actually save money in the long run. And I saw a great thing where if you were to buy an electric car, yes, electric cars have a greater upfront cost. They are more expensive than their gasoline counterparts. But if you are the type of person to actually keep your car for an extended period of time, after 5 years, not only are you now in the realm where you broke even, but from 5 years on an electric car, you actually save money than if you had just bought a gasoline car at a cheaper price. I think they did a comparison between the Chevrolet Bolt and the original 4-cylinder Chevrolet Equinox, and the break-even point was around 4 years, 4.5 years, even though the Chevrolet Equinox was a cheaper car at the time and the Bolt was more expensive. But the Bolt would save you money in the long run. We got to think long term. We are stuck in this pattern where we're so short-sighted that we lose focus of the future. Spend more money now so that we spend less later, and then we end up, when all is said and done, having more money in our pockets. Because I like money. I like money a lot.
I do too.
I love money. Money is great.
But here's the problem, okay? We've got a history in this country where when we give more money to the government with the promise of the future declines and paying it money, those have never been followed by either party.
Yeah, and that is a problem. I'm not saying that this is I'm not saying that this is something that we can do with
you're living in a
people
pipe.
that are in power.
You're living in a pipe dream when you say you'd be happy to pay more now in the future for a promise of paying less. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen so long as we allow these motherfuckers to keep getting away with it. And unfortunately, we're voting people into office that are allowing them to, like, I'm shocked that, for example, people are so eager to vote Trump back into office when he was busy doing the same shit. Maybe instead of voting someone into office just to own the libs, maybe we should have our elected officials hold themselves to a higher fucking standard. And if that means setting our want, need, and desire to own the libs a bit, then maybe we should do that. But here's the thing. Trump, for all of his billions, what was it revealed? He only spent $750 in taxes because he had the CPAs, he had the lawyers, he had the resources to game the system that way. Maybe that's not the type of person that we want in office, arguing for your side. By the same token, we should also not have a senile old fuck who should be in the fucking, nursing home controlling the White House. We need to actually have our elected officials hold themselves to a higher standard. We need to stop bowing like little bitches to these fucking corporations with CEOs with golden parachutes. We need a total rethink on how we do government shit. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. So you're right. But if we can work towards that goal, I think we can make this world a slightly better place. And that would start by fucking over Intuit and TurboTax. Fuck them. Fuck them in the ass because they've been fucking us for this long already.
I think it starts at higher than a private corporation. I think it starts.
Yeah, but it's a good start. It's a good start. It's a good start. Hey, Steve, you're here. Why?
I'm a nuke that can't figure out Discord. Okay, don't mess with me. Okay, don't fault me right now. But I think we remember a guy that really good on taxes, if I'm not mistaken. Reds, maybe we could find him.
Maybe. You'll have to check under your mattress when we because I think I knocked over the paperwork when we were having very hot kinky sex.
Oh god, that was so good.
It was so good. Yes.
It was like being out at sea.
You to continue your love fest on another channel. And
it was so good. It was like, it reminded me when I was overseas and we're off the coast of Kuwait and we just get hot and lonely. I wasn't a submariner, so no, it's not like 100 sailors go down and 50 couples up. It wasn't like that. Let me tell you, it wasn't so easy back then. Okay,
he was something for OnlyFans now.
He was quite the giver, let me tell you.
Hey, what can I say? I got talent. I got. How do you think I got ranked? Yeah,
I don't have enough alcohol for this shit.
Before we try to get this back on track, Siggy the Mad Lad with two more, one for $2 US, All rise. Honorable Steve McRae is in the house.
Siggy!
And before that, for $20 US, if third world countries like Argentina can have public health systems and free education from kindergarten to PhD, the US should be using my taxes for that stuff too. And also taxing the hell out of Bezos, Gates, and Musk.
You know, I'd be all for that, but the way that the tax code is structured, again, the elimination of the tax code in any entirety. Do any of you guys know how Musk is paid?
He's paid, I know, through stocks.
Okay.
And shares.
So let me explain this to you. Okay. And this is the way that Musk does it. Okay. Every time, and Bezos too. Okay. Every time their corporation's stock jumps, guess where they go? Where's the first place they go?
I don't understand the question. I know that
just
Bezos.
Get to the point.
They tend to don't want to get paid in cash. They take options out, and then they just wait for those options.
No.
Yeah, Musk. No. Oh yeah, Musk.
Musk options his stocks to the bank.
Okay,
the bank pays him a loan at 3 to 5%. Okay, knowing full well that Tesla, SpaceX, etc., will jump. They will always increase in value. Okay. When he sells stocks, he pays back the bank loans.
Right.
Okay. So it is a constant back and forth with Musk, with Bezos, that when they get a jump, they go get the loan. When they take a dive, they sell out. Or when their stocks stagnate. Okay. So that's how they're paid. Well, guess what? You're not taxed as high on that bank loan as you are for selling out your stocks outright.
What they're doing
or for personal tax.
What they're doing is technically not income, and that's the thing, because what they're doing is that they're utilizing their influence and their lawyers to make their income not income. And so what we should do is fix the tax code to recognize that income as, income.
Again, we go back to the usage tax so that we avoid this situation to begin with.
But all the studies and actual number crunching of going to a usage tax has actually had an inordinate negative effect on the people that are currently in the lower tax brackets.
Because the usage tax isn't calculated properly. When you eliminate
every presentation that has been done, they have taken that model and run the numbers based off of current sales and demographics, and each time, while it has gotten better, there has still been an inordinate negative to the mid and lower tax brackets because of the amount of routine actual services and sales that those larger populous areas take part in. While they are lower values, they are higher in volume, and that's part of the problem with just a strict usage tax.
Okay. All right. Do you know why that is flawed, Jared?
I just explained how the usage tax is
okay. All right.
Currently fucked.
I'm asking you why the calculations are flawed, and I know why they're flawed.
Because they're reality and they're going against your preconceived bias?
Nope.
Aldous, you tell me.
Because the usage tax would exclude a local sales tax on such items as food, clothing, and day-to-day necessity. The calculations that they've all run have included the usage tax on that.
Because the local sales tax would still need to be a thing unless you want to get rid of states' autonomy for their own taxes.
Okay, all right. In Texas, the usage the highest rate of sales tax in the state of Texas is 9.2%. That's the highest by state law you can have. The municipalities that use it: Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, El Paso, Tyler.
And what do all those have in common? Those are your major population areas.
Okay, all right. Those would stay the same. So therefore, when you add a federal usage tax on top of that for those specific items, okay, then your numbers become flawed. Your numbers become exacerbated, inflated, flawed.
Maybe you weren't listening to the beginning of the statement where I said that every proposition for a usage tax, when it has been evaluated, has resulted in this. Then they redraft it. Then it is reanalyzed. And while it's better, it is still showing a disproportionate adverse effect on the people of lower income. And what they found is it was based on the amount and type of transactions that those lower income families, households, and individuals partake in, that the ultimate goal of taxing people at the higher end of the wealth scale, not income scale, the wealth scale is the actual target that they're going for. Those people don't take part directly in the same number or type of transactions that would be affected by the usage tax. And that is where, while in theory, on the surface, a usage tax pure system looks like it should work the best, but when you actually break it down to the behaviors of the people you are targeting, that's where it falls apart.
Okay, but you're including the state level tax.
This is looking at all tax and all behavior.
Okay, all right. So let's see. I've got a family of four at a low income tax rate that's able to afford a 9.2% tax, and agreed, barely make it.
And if you get rid of the income tax,
and it's dependent upon the refund after April 15th that they will get for their payroll taxes.
and if you get rid of the payroll taxes, their weekly and monthly take home just increased by about 20%.
Which is why don't we pay them the 20% each month instead of forcing them to wait until the 15th of April?
And then you go to a usage tax, and now instead of having that 9% tax on those certain items, now that gets bumped up.
Because the federal usage tax will not include household items. They will not include food. They will not include, and that is where the numbers are flawed, is because every one of those scenarios that I've ever seen has included a local sales tax on top of the federal usage tax for such items as food, clothing, and day-to-day necessity. Okay? That is where it is flawed. That is where people who say, we don't want the federal usage tax because, oh, look at this, we're going to have to include it on the low-income items that people need day-to-day.
Okay. Funny, where did I say that?
That is the numbers you're crunching, Jared. That is the numbers
What
you're using.
What did I say?
That there would be an increase over the 9.2%.
That every proposition that has been put forth and analyzed has resulted in that.
And again, that is where you're wrong. When you remove the sales tax on a day-to-day basis, and none of these numbers have ever removed the federal income tax on the day-to-day necessity.
You know what happens when you take out the most common transactions that are done? Do you know what's gonna happen to the value and the taxes of everything? We're gonna go back to before the Model T was even invented.
No,
because if you take it, really, you really think that the average amount of transactions across the nation for things like cars and air travel and non-essentials is going to be at such a volume for it not to get ridiculously overpriced because of a usage tax?
It might get overpriced, but again,
it will get overpriced to the point that the lower and middle income brackets cannot afford it.
Okay. The lower and middle income brackets probably ought not be utilizing services they can't afford to begin with.
So they shouldn't be traveling and being part of the economy.
Wow, yeah, that's a little much, don't you think? I mean, you're basically saying that very, very classist. I mean, you're basically saying the lower and middle if they can't afford some basic stuff that regular people need, things they might even order from out of state or shipped from outside their local region, then they shouldn't have it. They don't deserve it. That's kind of harsh, man.
If you can afford it, you can get it.
How many people buy cars on credit or just pay cash for it? I mean, how many people probably pay for a vehicle that's going to be a little bit more than they're making?
That's majority of people pay credit for vehicles. I agree with that. Okay. But instead of going 48 months, maybe go 84.
Why would you want longer term?
Ooh.
Why would you want longer term? I mean, granted, yeah, you pay less
per
month.
Why do I want to pay an income tax now, Steve? Why do I want to pay an income tax now?
Well, but the same thing for a longer term. I'd rather have a shorter term as possible, pay down that principal, and you're not paying as much as interest.
Okay.
And you usually get better rates.
And plus, you're going to be paying for something longer and longer and longer that's going to continuously diminish in value.
Yeah, depreciation is going to be rapid.
Depreciation is going to be a bitch.
Depreciation happens to everything except real estate.
But it happens at different rates. I mean, if you're going to be underwater. You're paying off an 8. I don't even know who would do an 8-year loan if they even exist. 5 years usually like the max. But I mean, who has their cars that long? After 5 years, you're ready to move on to something else, anyways.
Or
you hit 3 pigs. When are they? What's something going to happen?
You hit three pigs. But yeah, what you suggested there, I just want to make you very, very aware of this. That's a very classist approach. It's like super, super off-putting. I would highly recommend you reevaluate your values there.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that lead to some kind of plutocracy? I mean, you have the richest of the rich; they can afford everything, but everybody else, nope, they don't get nothing.
No, they would have the ability to save up. They would have the ability to not depend upon April 15th for $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 in tax refunds. Okay, that they could have used throughout the year.
Well, I mean, people could change their dependence where they could get it kind of balanced out. I mean, I happen to have the maximum taken out because I don't mind. But I mean, if people have higher dependents, they have less taken out per month, right? So I mean, it really depends what you put on your W-4.
Yeah.
And we got another super chat from Siggy for $5 this time. All this conversation just reminded me, I owe 21 cents to the IRS since 2017, and they want me to send a check.
They'll get it in blood if they need to. Yeah, if
you are going to pay that little bit of cents.
Take it in pennies, make them count it out.
No, it's not worth the postage, and some
I've got a checkbook somewhere.
It started at 20. It started with 21 cents. Now it's $3,000. So
yeah.
It's $4,225,000.
That's the other problem I have with the IRS is where in the hell did they get the right to freaking stick it to us for a tax bill from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, chomp on all these percentage and interest fees, and then claim they're broke or claim they're breaking even? Where the fuck does that come from?
The same people that are causing the problems now. Congress, the elected officials. They're allowing them to bloat themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the days when you had banks charging almost usury rates. You had things like you have $20 your account. You try floating a check. You check didn't go through. Now you have a $35 bounce fee check for money you don't have. They were making the biggest income they had was from bounced check fees and overdrafts and things of that nature. That's what they were making their big money on.
Yeah. Okay, and I agree with you, Steve. I mean, the whole thing is that the federal government tried to model itself after a business corporation and failed. And
that's the people who were going into office were business owners and operators.
You know how you fix the issue? No more personhood for corporations.
Hey, do you remember when banks would do this? Let's say you had like 5 checks you had to go through, and let's say you had like a $1, like all of them were $2 checks, and you had a $100 check, and you had like, let's say, $80 in your account. They would get all their checks at the same time, and instead of putting all 4 of the smaller checks through, and then they bounce the larger one, they would bounce the larger one, making sure that all the checks got fees on it. This was standard practice for banks.
Yeah. Okay. So again, here's the thing: is that if we're going to put forward a business model, and we're not dealing with businessmen, because we haven't dealt with a Congress that has been businessmen since the mid 1900s, 1950.
No.
Okay, so Truman, we have elected failed lawyers on both sides, for the exception of very few on either the Republican or Democrat side. We have elected failed lawyers who have written so many rules that people with a GED can barely understand them. Okay. And even my little brother, who is a CPA, can barely understand it. So we got no transparency in government right now. We probably haven't had it since the 1800s. Okay. How are we going to take transparency back? Are we going to demand that the current elected officials are?
If only we had a process like they had for Senator Valorum.
You know, if we had a vote of no confidence, half of Congress would be out, and the other half
would be gone
on after the new half came in.
And at this point, I'm pretty sure this conversation has made every woman so dry. I think it's.
I want to go back to our discussion, Rez. That was hot.
Yeah, it was. I was
kind of getting into that
tonight, because at this point, it seems that when having these conversations, that it literally we got exactly where we got to last time that we had this fucking conversation. Honestly.
Nowhere. Get rid of taxes. Get a stupid flat tax, 10%, 12% across the board. Increase it with inflation, and just
and Steve, let me offer a suggestion. Have you ever tried killing the poor?
Well, I've read. I actually loved it. I read A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. That's a great solution.
We can always try. We can always try killing the poor. Maybe that will work. Jared,
Okay, Steve, it might have been a great solution, but was it the final solution?
Oh, that's a little bit righty. Yeah.
If we're asking those questions, Jared, we might get not just
there goes your channel.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Well, the Jew comes in the room and look what happens. I get it.
Auf der Heide blue ein kleines Blümelein.
All we have to do, listen. The solution here is pretty obvious. Just saying it outright. One, get rid of it. Have a simplified tax code. Give IRS enough money to do their fucking jobs without any hiccups, and also answer the goddamn phone every now and then, and round up all the dwarves.
Yeah, and also I think get rid of earmarks, get rid of riders, get rid of what are the other ones? But there's definitely, I mean, when you have all this stuff going on in Congress, where it's just basically them making money and they don't care about their constituents, then yeah, we have to vote them all out. And the solution is start with the grassroots. Get elected politicians that are not going to be lifetime politicians that just want to go in and milk the system for 20, 30, 50, 60, 70 years. Some of them.
Yeah. They're all kinds of shit.
I am absolutely, I'm mortified by that. I mean, we need term limits on this shit. I mean, the president has term limits.
No corporate personhood, flat limit to how much any individual can give.
We need term limits, but we also need statesmen. We don't need politicians anymore. We need true statesmen.
I wouldn't mind having like statesmen. I think that the only statesman we had in quite some time was Obama. You know, I mean, he was somebody like this to be a statesman.
I wouldn't consider Obama a statesman. I'd consider him a socialist.
I don't want to comment. I mean,
as far as businessmen in Congress, I'd like to point out that 53% of the current House is composed of people with a business and banking background. So,
yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to show.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But what I would suggest going forward is that if we do have another one of these conversations, if we can make it something other than taxes, that would be absolutely amazing. Because as of right now, I am officially bored out of my skull. It's 12:30 in the morning. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm done with this.
I'm not fascinated by taxes either.
I mean, listen. There's I get worn out when I'm talking about boring shit like taxes, because let me tell you something, it's fucking taxes. This is like here's the technical manual. It's like when I tuck in my kids to read a bedtime story, I'm just going to read them the tax code. That'll knock their shit right out. I'll tell you that right now.
Wait, you got kids?
I'd read the technical manual. I read a technical manual before a tax code.
Oh, yeah.
Tech, you got to be careful.
I'll listen to Red's channel before I read the tax code.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful about reading them the tech manuals, though, because you're gonna end up with a kid like me that actually enjoys reading that shit.
I would honestly,
you're saying that like it's a problem.
If I had a kid that would enjoy reading shit like TMs or AR-670-1 or tax codes, then I've done something wrong.
As something to listen to, I would rather listen to Nickelback. I'm not even fucking joking.
I have a book over here. It's the Handbook of Mathematical Functions. I would read that before the text.
It's the biggest case of boring shit ever, and so yeah, we could like have a conversation. That isn't.
Look at this photograph.
Are you saying you'd rather talk philosophy than read the tax code?
I mean, we're getting close to that.
Yes. I was like, damn, we hit rock bottom on that one then.
Oh yeah, very much rock bottom. It's taxes. It's boring as shit. And yes, basically systems fuck. We can easily unfuck it. We just choose not to, and everything's shit, and it's gonna get worse. So that's the debate.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America. Fuck yeah.
This isn't my America. This is that's like they did my Navy. I don't know what the hell happened to it. Sorry, I don't know.
Really.
Not our, I don't know, man. What happened to the VTW stuff? We're talking about Navy stuff. What are we talking about taxes, man? We're talking about Navy stuff.
Because
America.
I was asked on Twitter to have this conversation, and here we are.
Wow.
You know, and basically I'm talking about we just need to have a return on investment. We don't. honestly, even though they're really fucking cool, we don't need more F-22 Raptors because every single F-22 Raptor we've ever created has been on an air-to-air vegan diet. We're giving them nothing but UFOs and balloons. Like, what the fuck?
I actually.
Well, the Raptor stopped production, so you're fine there.
Okay, good. We're off to a great start there.
I'm actually for lowering the defense budget. I think it's
we're now down. Reds, if it's any consolation, we're down now to the NGAD, which would be a limited run of production of 200 planes with, I think, 1,000 drones.
As of right now, our military has everything it needs to kick everyone's ass.
Yeah.
We're
overkill.
Just
I don't
take
think
away my
so.
$5,000 toilet seat, please.
No, we don't have overkill yet. We need to teach the Iowa class how to fly.
When we got $20,000 O-rings that you can make for 50 cents, yeah.
I just brought that up. Yeah, I brought that up. Then these non-vehicular clutch discs that were like $1,000 each, and they only cost $20 to make.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
NASA buying. What was it? $500 hydraulic
hammers
for $10. You know, I mean.
We used to fabricate our own gaskets, and I mean it was just pennies on the dollar. And yet you buy one prefab. I mean, they're probably hundreds of bucks. It's ridiculous. They take like 5 minutes to make.
Did you know that you can literally drill through pennies and there would be cheaper washers than actual washers from Home Depot?
I wouldn't doubt that.
Oh, yes, because they will only cost 1 cent a piece.
Exactly. And if you buy washers from Home Depot, they're 12 cents.
But you're putting in.
It's just they're not actually made of copper anymore.
Well, hang on. Value labor theory. You're putting in your labor, so it's worth something there.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to bow out of this because I've got my wife bugging me on text and Facebook.
Yeah, I just dropped in to say hi to you guys. So
hey, Steve, good to see you again, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah, good chat. Good listening to it. Boring, but interesting.
Hey, sorry it was boring. Sorry, I couldn't be more entertaining.
No, it's not you. It's a subject matter. I mean, what are we going to do with it?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm supposed to be sober now, so yeah. But anyway, I will catch you guys later. I'll catch you guys next week. Reds, thank you very much for the conversation. I appreciate it.
Likewise. All right, I'm going to head out too. So peace out, guys, and have a good one.
Peace out.
Yep. See you, Reds.
Yeah, Jared and Jay, we got to have some Navy stories next time. I don't get over here very much, and I need to get over here more because I America.
Hey, it used to at one point because of work it went down to monthly and then disappeared for a couple months because of fucking work. But now, because of situations, we are here more regularly.
Cool.
It's just the wife wasn't feeling good, so I took care of her last weekend. So
Oh, that's good. That's a good hubby. Yeah, I just couldn't find the link because I wasn't used to Discord.
And last week, squirrels chewed through my internet here at the apartment. So
sure.
Don't even. Yeah, right, Jay. Fuck you, Jay. Fuck you.
All right, so let me.
Good night,
Before we
guys.
go ahead and call it a night, which we'll do here in a few seconds, one last super chat from Siggy for another 5 US. Love
Siggy!
y'all, but in the US, people don't know what socialism is.
He ain't wrong.
Oftentimes, yes,
Yeah,
that
he
is
ain't
the
wrong.
case.
Yeah.
What do you mean often?
Yeah, it's like most time they confuse socialism with like a social program, and they're not at all the same thing. Just because we have socialized medicine, like for the VA, that's not socialism as a form of government. They're not the same thing.
Yeah, and that's where it's a lot of the majority of people, as I would even call it 99% of the people who throw out socialist or socialism as some sort of derogatory, don't know what they're fucking talking about.
Oh, absolutely. And another subject I hate, political Marxism. Like, that's the difference between Marxism and capitalism and socialism and Leninism. I don't even care. I know the minor differences, but it's just, again, boring. And for some reason, my computer network is going to crap. I can't go. I'm having some internet issues yet. I'm still on Meet, so I don't know what's going on.
It's Chrome. It's killing.
Chrome has been going screwy the last 6 hours for people.
Chrome has I've had issues on Chrome. I switched to Opera today. Like on Twitter, I cannot load certain GIFs on Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. I switched to Opera. Now Opera is having similar problems. It's like I don't know what's going on with the internet today.
I don't know. It's that tech. Big Brother is watching. But until
Fix
then,
your
we
shit.
will see all of you guys next week. Probably, most likely. Keep an eye out. If there is something major that comes up, I'll let y'all know. Till then, have a good one.